Hello, everyone, and welcome to the grand finals of the Super Metroid and Link to the Past combined randomizer tournament. We got some more combo rando coming at you. The championship is on the line in this best of three series. We've got game one coming at you between Solski and azder. My name is Alucard2004, and joining me is the amazing Wild Anaconda69. What's up?
What's going on, everybody? Are you as hype as I am? I'm as hype as I am. Of course. This is going to be such an awesome match. As you said, the grand finals, these players obviously deserving to be here. Both of them have copious experience. This is going to be some top-notch gameplay going on.
Absolutely. We've got azder as the number 2 seed in this tournament. Coming in strong, taking out Cheesinator, Ninjembro, Dragon Darch, and Pizza to make his way to the grand finals. And then Solski rolling in at seed number 4, taking out Hatch78, Migs Live, Maniacal, his co-op partner, and the number 1 seed in the tournament, Aussie 101, in the semifinals to make it here to the grand finals. I'd say azder, known for the strong Super Metroid play, has been running Super Metroid categories, many different ones for many years, including randomizers and
ROM hacks.
And ROM hacks, exactly, has some world records in those ROM hack categories as well. But then Solski is kind of like a wild card player, tries to really push the meta and plays, new strategies every single time. You learn something new every time you watch him. It's pretty amazing to see.
A wild card player indeed. Oh man. All right. So, of course, there's the age-old question. Will these players remain in Super Metroid to do the 2 checks available to them, or will they head into Link to the Past immediately?
They'll go to Link to the Past immediately. It's just that it's such a risk, but it's definitely a gamble that can be made. It's just way too many items in Link to the Past to really entertain that option. Like, if you're actually playing the odds and you're trying to play kind of conservatively in the early game, then you just go for it. If you really want to push your luck, you can sink the, minute and a half, 2 minutes that it takes to go down and check those items. And if you do spike an item down there, that could be the match right there. Like, that could be a huge deal. So, vanilla morph, we've seen it before. It can happen. But
oh, man.
I likely think we're going to see both of these players head straight into Link to the Past.
That is the correct answer. There is... yeah, I mean, basically everything you said, spot on. And not to mention that, speaking logically, only one of the items in Super Metroid is logically accessible. And so, I mean, you'll hear us talk a lot about things that are in logic, not in logic. That just means, based on the items that they have currently, are they able to obtain the items, or was it a sequence break? And so those are, for me, it's fun to kind of think about, what's in logic, what's not. It can also kind of inform your thinking of, if you're missing an item, where it might be based on the logic and whatnot. So it's a pretty fun thing to think about.
Yeah, that's a really important point, and as we're watching the run, we'll definitely highlight those things for you guys. But it looks like we are off to the races. Here we go. Grand Finals, Game 1, Solski versus azder. Let's go.
Let's go. All right. So, hoping that these players are going to do a map check pretty early on, just to, for my own peace of mind, to know where the pendants and crystals are, the layout in the light world. So we're going to go ahead and see if any of them do that. And we get to see their Link to the Past sprites. So we see the eggplant there for Solski, and a GBA Link of some kind, I think. Maybe not. I'm not entirely sure. But we already have a Divergent
on that. Oh, interesting. So azder getting the 20 rupees in Link's house, and we got Solski hitting up Sanctuary, getting some missile.
Yeah, so this is an interesting play here from Solski, it's a little, I guess, I don't want to say unorthodox because it's not like it's you never see this decision. But it kind of makes sense in a way because you know that you're eventually going to be like saving quitting back to Link's house, and you can also see these the tree pull checks a lot more quickly, and as you're seeing from him right there, and the crab as well, which is single bombs, which is really great this early on.
Yeah, that's a great scout there from Solski. Looks like he's gonna go for round 2.
I don't think,
or maybe check the tier 1 tree pull.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, grab some magic. And he's gonna grab some more bombs, okay.
Now, we're probably gonna see him skip Lumberjack check? Yeah. So, we already know that this is kind of paying off for Solski. The first couple items there didn't really pay off for Azder. And he is making... Is it a gamble? I don't know. Just skipping the Lumberjack check, because, like,
he was on the screen. I'm kind of surprised he didn't just check it while he was there, but... you don't need to necessarily check it if you don't get boots for a while, and you can route that in with Bonk Rocks later, or if they have to kill Aghanim anyways, then you can kind of just grab them.
Exactly. It's because it requires so many items to get.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and it's the knowledge is good, of course. Like if you see, like your moon pearl there, like obviously you need to go back and get it, and like that in itself gives you a lot of information because you know that like most of your progression is going to be like in the light world and Link to the Past, or you're just going to have to go through a bunch of Super Metroids in order to access that likely. So it's interesting, and I mean it is, and the other justification is too, it's just one check, like it's literally one check, probably not losing a whole bunch of time by not checking it because it's likely not going to be anything. So an important note here though is that Azder did not check those crabs. He doesn't have any bombs going into these initial checks in Kakariko. So what's that going to do for him?
It could put him in a little bit of a predicament here, being able to check the back of the well and the back of Blind's house. So he's kind of just hoping to grab some items, gets a fire rod, and gets the rupees to purchase bombs. I think that was kind of the plan here, was to be able to farm those pots to get to 50, so you can go down and grab some bombs, and he will get some more money in Blind's house, and you can see Solski kind of going in and considering farming. Elects to go for the well because that'll get him over the top. Makes a lot of sense. But we have found, a fire rod. We found morph bombs, which are a pretty interesting item because they do provide some can fly access in Super Metroid once we get that morph ball to use them. And there's the other fire source in the back.
Wow.
Of the well. So we've got the lamp and the fire rod already.
That's great, and the full magic bar to really make full use of that fire rod, which is really nice. So it's definitely going to be worth it for Azder to go back and head into the well, get that lamp at the back there. Just makes I mean, of course, these players have so much experience with this, and can do the dark rooms in their sleep, which is basically what you do anyway because it's dark and you can't see. But just having the lamp for it just makes it. It just takes one extra little stressor off your mind. You can do it a little bit more quickly. So it's just a really nice amenity. Yeah,
and I mean, there are weird situations where, like, that lamp can be really important for, like, Master Sword Silverless Ganon with, like, no bottles and no half magic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, like, that's few and far between. But anyways, they both got their fire sources, and they're out of here. We do get a map check. Looks like we have a green pendant over in Tower of Hera and a 5/6 crystal in Eastern. And just a normal crystal over in Desert.
Alright, we have an Ether at the race game. So Solski is going to be going back and getting that because he has no idea if he's going to need it or not. Chances are you will, and it's just good to have it. You see a lot of players just electing not to just kind of YOLO the race game, just going in and going through the entirety of it, and just hoping that the item there is good. You'll see a lot of players just go run through and check it first, and just and make that decision to eat the little bit of time that it would have taken to backtrack. And a nice little time saver there from Azder. You saw him coming out of Blind's house, and he was going to go, and he needed to go down the stairs, except instead of taking the long time to walk all the way down the stairs, he picked up the bush and jumped off the ledge. An awesome little time saver. Just kind of showing like how much that these players can optimize their movement.
You also get kind of a movement speed boost if you hop off a ledge while carrying a thing while you're walking. So he got the small boost there up until, you know, he got to the bottle vendor, but you know, these things matter. So it looks like Azder does not want to save and quit there. Is going to go grab that ether while Solski goes to the dam, and I imagine we'll head over to Mini Moldorm Cave. I mean, these are just the highest density locations.
Yep.
And then it's kind of a decision on, do you know, go into Hyrule Castle and check those items with the lamp and the fire rod? It gets pretty. It's a pretty attractive play for me, honestly, because you kill the enemies quickly, and you can do the dark rooms if you can, you know, get the key early. So I think that's a pretty strong play right now. But you could also go to Sahasrahla and Eastern, where you could potentially get up to 6 items.
Yeah, both are pretty solid choices. After the Mini Moldorm play, so we'll kind of see which one these players decide to go for.
Gonna fry up some Moldorms here. Solski actually switching to bombs to preserve magic, I imagine, for that escape.
I would assume so. Yeah, you don't really need it for going to Eastern, so it's probably kind of telegraphing the decision or the place he's planning on going after this. He did just pick up some more power bombs. I think that is the second pack that we found already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's really good in combination with the morph bombs. That's something that you really want to pay attention to early on in your combo. Because the traditional starting route in Super Metroid is going to take you through Criteria and Brinstar, which combined are extremely bomb heavy. It requires a lot of bombs and power bombs to be able to optimally check everything on one pass through. So if you're at 15 power bombs, you're basically just set. You might have to do a little bit of farming here and there, but you're going to have plenty to just kind of go through nonstop. Whereas if you have anything less than that, then you got to start doing some good management of your power bombs. So with the morph bombs, it kind of mitigates that entirely. So it's just good to keep track of that.
Yeah, I mean, we're actually in a pretty good spot in terms of SM ammo. We just need that morph, and we can start doing a lot, because I think we've seen a couple super packs already.
Yeah.
Solski finally getting in that map check, decides against doing escape, and looks like he's going to be heading over to Sahasrahla and Eastern. I know he likes to press these locations because it is dense. It's a lot of checks, so I think this is a fine play.
You know, I'm wondering if his decision is made in part by the fact that he's assuming that Azder went and checked the uncle and the sewer chest before he did, and is just kind of assuming that that's not really worth it, and trying to get ahead, use the little time that he's gained by not making those checks to get ahead on the checks in areas that Azder might not have gotten to yet.
Well, he's rewarded with more power bombs, so
yeah.
we are in really good shape in terms of explosives for Super Metroid.
We sure are, and I want to note Azder was in that was a very Monka-esque situation there, only having 2 hearts. Those crabs do 2 hearts damage, very, very dangerous. The 4 crabs around Ice Rod Cave, and he did a great job trying to. They were coming at him, but he did a great job dodging them. So we'll see where he elects to go now, as Solski got just the power bombs from Sahasrahla going into potentially 3 items in Eastern. And Azder's heading on into the escape, so we're going to see basically the rest of the dense locations split up between the 2 players right now.
Yeah, there's really not much else left other than these 2 locations. There is the desert and Agana, and then there is 1 item in the Super Metroid logically and 1 out of logic that they can collect. There are some out of logic things they can do in Link to the Past as well with fake flippers, but you know, you tend to see players push the in-logic locations early on, because if you hit something like Morph Ball, then, you know, the game is kind of pushing you in that direction to make your progression. Ooh, screw attack and escape.
That is some progression there. I also want to point out, too, that neither of these players had the money to get Bottle Vendor. And so we did see Solski grab a blue rupee under a pot just to put himself just over what he needs to get that Bottle Vendor, just over the 100. So that's also, at this point, kind of an out-of-the-way check as well for them to get. But with that screw attack...
I thought he got it, because he farmed the well. Yeah.
Did he? Oh, okay. My mistake. Forgot I said anything. And let's rewind to when Azder got his screw attack, which
what does it do?
It does give some logical checks in Super Metroid. It does allow you to get past the first section of bomb blocks, as well as give the Old Mother Brain check. That one is kind of an out-of-the-way check. It could be combined with the Morph Pedestal, but you are going to get a handful of Super Metroid items in logic, and by that I mean 3 plus Old Mother Brain, so like 4 total. It's kind of annoying because you have to travel pretty much all the way through Brinstar, most of the way, for very, very few items. And then later, once you get, more, if you have to go back through again. Some really great planning with health management there by Azder, taking the damage, dropping a bomb so it kills him, so he warps back to the beginning so he can continue all the way to the Dark Cross here. Now, what is he hoping for in this chest?
I mean, I think you want a small key, or maybe a glove. Glove would be pretty fine too, because then you could do the back of escape.
Yes.
Or I guess Morph. Like, you'd be pretty happy seeing Morph here, I would say. But, any progression item. But I'd say that those boots that Solski found are pretty amazing. In the Eastern Palace big key chest. Wow, that's gonna speed up a lot of movement here for Solski, and he's gonna push that to Bonk Rocks. Maybe we'll see a lumberjack check from him as well.
Yeah, because now, obviously, that's one item closer to being able to actually obtain the lumberjack item. He's still got to get, at least one sword, and possibly a cape to get into Aghanim. So let's go ahead and see what this check is here. Just a piece of heart. And
that's not really fortunate for Azder right there.
It is.
It could have been a really bad situation if that was Morph, because Azder is making these Super Metroid checks now and pushing that screw attack.
So it's looking like he's gonna opt to go down and do the 3 checks down here. He's got Old Mother Brain, which is going to be at the bottom of the next room, or the beginning of the next room, I should say. So that lumberjack check is a E-tank.
What was that?
An E-tank. Yeah. So here's this Old Mother Brain check here for Azder. Doesn't need that money. And then he's gonna get the Morph Pedestal, and then there's again that item that you were saying is in the ceiling, that is accessible with a fancy little damage flinch, damage recoil, so there'll be those 2 items down here, and then he's got the rest of another 3 logical items in the rest of the Brinstar loop.
Yeah, he does have the ability to go to Gauntlet, but it's not logical at all. There's a reserve. Just gonna go ahead and reset that. Makes a lot of sense because it's just a fast path back to the ship.
Yep, saves all that time. Because there wasn't anything that he needed to keep at any of those locations, he could just reset back to the ship and continue on. And so as you said, yeah, there's the Gauntlet item, which he is going to go check right now. Those wall jumps are not in logic for the difficulty that they are playing, as those wall jumps are a little bit more tricky and less intuitive than normal wall jumps are. So we do need he's paying very close attention to his movement right now. If he is to get stuck underneath any of these blocks, he can't get out because he could potentially, but it would take a long time for him that he doesn't want to spend trying to wiggle out of those. Without the morph, he would get stuck crouched. So Solski did just grab his screw attack, so he's going to be able to head along the same path here that Azder's going to be taking as soon as he finishes this up. We'll see if he decides to head on into the Dark Cross as well, or if he's going to go straight into Super Metroid.
Yeah, I think at this stage you kind of just do it, because if it is a key, you know, that could actually be your logical progression. Ooh.
Uh-oh.
There's a sword! One more and we can do Aghanim.
Yeah, one more
we know there's nothing at Lumberjack, interestingly, so it would have to be some progression on the pyramid. Or a cape, I guess, would work.
Yeah, so yeah, sword or cape is gonna give them access to Aghanim, and then their first access to the Dark World. So it'll be really interesting to see, you know, if that second or that final item is in Super Metroid here, and then it's just an immediate play, or if something else pops up beforehand.
Solski gonna save some time and actually go straight into Super Metroid. I mean, unless it's Agana, then I guess no one's saving any time. But he does have boots, which is pretty good. It looks like Azder is saving here in Brinstar to check this crumble bridge item, because you can obtain this and escape. If you're really fancy, you can damage boost through that section, but that's extremely difficult, and I don't think anybody's gonna do that in the finals here. It would be pretty swag, though.
But yeah, but as you're saying, you can grab that item underneath that crumble bridge by quick dropping down onto it and then jumping back up before the crumble blocks form. But obviously, it was just 3 bombs, and Oster didn't really need that. So we're coming up to the last 2 items that are accessible: a piece of heart and one more. And they're
feeling very good right now.
No, not at all. If this isn't anything,
it's Morph.
Oh my god! So this is like a really interesting place to have Morph Ball, because now you have to make a decision on like whether or not you continue, or if you just backtrack through the rest of Brinstar and check the rest of those items, or do it later. And interestingly, Solski did not check that item in the ceiling. Or did he at first? I didn't see him go over and check it. He just reset after the morph pedestal, I think.
I believe that you're right. But it looks like he will be able to route that in later with Morph, so that's actually kind of working to his benefit.
It sure
he knows
will.
It's not something. He knows it's not something logical for him, so that is good. And Azder kind of working on all these fun sequence breaks. I guess you know, the Spore Spawn super is in logic, just the slow way of killing Spore Spawn. So we don't do that here. We skip Spore Spawn. Unfortunately, missing the Wave Gate glitch here in order to shoot a super at the appropriate angle to be able to get that item. That's really unfortunate there.
It is, yeah. Especially because, and he a little bit of. He realized he didn't have the Super 2 continue on, so he did need to go back up and farm 1 anyway. Pretty unfortunate, but I think in this situation, it's not too bad that he's going to have to come back later and get that, because he does need to do the rest of the Brinstar items in Green Brinstar that he is isolating right now, because he's continuing on into either Wreck Ship or going down Red Tower into like Norfair and then heading into like Death Mountain.
Yeah, I know Azure is very capable of completing Wreck Ship with, you know, 2 E-Tanks and the ammo that he has, but that is still kind of a risky play. With only Morph Bombs as like movement items, looks like he's kind of pushing towards like the high jump area, Kraid. And I kind of like this. It's actually quite a dense set of checks in a relatively short period of time, and you have to kill Kraid anyways.
Indeed. Yeah, I agree.
Ooh.
And it's looking like it's going to pay off here, because with that Varisuit, he's actually going to have access to pretty much the entirety of Upper Norfair.
Yeah, a couple things will be out of logic, but he can actually access.
Right,
you know,
with
every item, yeah.
with his can fly that he has, which is the Morph Bombs, as well as the Varisuit. So we're gonna see Solski's gonna have another shot at showing us what this item is behind this Wave Gate. both of these players doing the more difficult version of this trick, but Solski does get it first try and finds a oh my god! The moon pearl.
With that being out of logic, where's the wave beam? Because that's what you need in order to collect that item.
Yes. So wave beam, folks. Let's keep an eye out for where that wave beam is. Wave beam, not an item that is typically required for a lot of things. In normal mode, there is quite a few checks that that it is required for, like that one in particular. Usually it's just an item that you don't really care about, because all the items that it does lock can be sequence broken anyway. So it'll be really interesting to see where wave beam turns up in the progression chain.
Yeah, the other thing it can unlock for you is the way down to Crocomire, which we may see azder break if he decides to go into Upper Norfair and clean it out. Which, I mean, you find that Variasuit, there's a decent incentive to go there, which takes him further and further away from that Moon Pearl, unfortunately. But, you know, we don't have access to the Dark World at the moment, so it's not relevant immediately, but we're about to see the Green Brinstar checks, and there's a lot of them here.
I am loving this, by the way. The fact that they're both going, they're taking this divergence here, and
getting a lot of information for sure.
Yeah. It's really great to see, I think. And plus, like, each player having a pretty significant item that the other one does not. I'm personally hoping for progression in both of those, like with the Varia for azder and progression with the Moon Pearl for Solski, to see just like a really big divergence and kind of see how it plays out. I think that would be really awesome to see in this race.
Definitely. You know, right now I'd give Solski the edge with just based on what we've seen. Like, azder's got the first boss down. We saw that very quickly executed and done beautifully.
I blinked and he was dead.
And he's done with Kraid completely. The whole area, and it's heading to ice with that mock ball. So again, out of logic checks, but still well worth it because efficiency is definitely key.
That's right.
Here. But like, you know, it would be cool to see azder get like Speed Booster to kind of be like the analog to Solski's boots, because right now Solski's kind of got an edge with boots and Moon Pearl.
Right. So another mock ball sequence break here. The mock ball in Super Metroid allows you to keep your running speed while in ball form. You can roll right underneath those gates. Getting another really great movement item to really speed him up. Just words to really speed him up. Solski getting the high jump boots. Really, really great find there.
Yeah, so what does high jump boots even do for us here?
Well, it puts that ceiling item in logic. Well, I mean, along with the morph and morph bombs, put that ceiling item in logic there. But high jump is really, at this point, it's not really doing anything logically for these players, but it's definitely making Solski's movement. It's going to be a lot faster, a lot more efficient through areas. So it's just, you know, one of those situations where the longer that he's spending in Super Metroid with that item that azder doesn't, he just has an inherent advantage in terms of movement. Now, depending on how he plays can determine how much of an advantage that is, but an advantage nonetheless, I would say. Oh my god!
The gravity suit in the back of Gauntlet, along with a nice super pack to go with it. So that is amazing. This could be really interesting. And
though there was that glove that high jumped, so that is. This could go in a lot of really interesting ways. Like, both of these players are finding different progression items. That gravity is extremely significant, though. Unlocks pretty much the entirety of Meridia. Just a small number of items that, at this point, Solski can't access. And you know, the latter half of Meridia's, he doesn't have Speed Booster to logically get through.
Or ice to sequence break.
Or ice to sequence break.
I mean, there is a Crystal Flash clip, but I don't think anybody's gonna do that unless that's like their go mode or something.
Yeah. Well, if that's their go mode, I mean, they're just
they
going
could
through
probably
the
just
portal.
backdoor.
They're going
Yeah.
through the portal at that point, yeah. So Azder here saving the old man. Good decision. Yeah, obviously, just makes a lot of sense to do this before going into the rest of Norfair. Unfortunately,
Not having
getting
a good way there with those dead rocks.
The dead rock just getting in his way, unfortunately. But you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. So Solski immediately going to get this gravity. That's definitely going to put him in a pretty good spot here. And I mean,
what's kind of interesting about this gravity with high jump is it actually logically unlocks wreck ship.
It does, yeah. And I mean, I would fully expect him to be going to the wreck ship anyway at this point. But yeah, it does allow you to just do a little jump to get up to get through the moat there. Or, I mean, even without the high jump, he would be able to bomb jump up through the past the moat. But there are so many different combinations of items to get past the moat and into wreck ship.
But gravity definitely just unlocks things logically, which is important.
Yes.
Looks like Azder's gonna chase those gloves into back of escape. I like this choice.
I do. Yep.
3 quick checks. We know one of them's gonna be the key. And I think we found the map already, so
I believe so.
I think there's 2 items back here.
Yeah. Good check. I mean, it's right out of a save and quit. So we'll see how this goes. Another that's Dark World access.
It is. I don't think in Azder's position without the Moon Pearl, I would really be considering that option too much.
No.
But
especially with all of Norfair available. Well, okay, not all. Most of Norfair available to him. Absolutely not. Yeah. And plus, he still has. Doing. Yeah, I mean, he's got that. I mean, he still has the other part of Brinstar to do. So we are going to see Solski. He is going to be checking these criteria power bombs. He's going to bomb jump his way up there. As Azder is going to bomb jump his way into Norfair. Excellent double bomb jumps.
Bomb jumping with high jump, actually impossible, because you never have high jump this early in combo random.
It's tough.
You can see the struggle. Yeah, you forget how to bomb jump with high jump when you never have it. But this is one of those rare cases. Oh,
always at the top, dude. It's always at the top. Feels bad. Happens to me all the time. It's like, I don't know what it is. It's just a subconscious mental thing that you like screw up your bomb jumps right at the last one. Azder going for a really tight wall jump here to get up. Excellent. Does that relatively quickly.
Very nicely done.
Yeah. Unfortunately, you need pretty much, in order for that to be faster, you pretty much need to do it on the first try, as opposed to the other strat that he could have done to get up there. But still, it's just a showcase of, it's kind of just flexing on us there a little bit. It's not an easy wall jump to do.
For sure. Solski getting some vanilla power bombs up there at criteria power bombs.
He's very comfy with his power bombs.
Yeah. I mean, 20? That's even more than you need.
Yeah, it sure is.
All right, and into the wreck ship we go.
I actually had the frame for a continuous wall jump there. I'm seriously like really enjoying the fact that both of these players found such significant progression in different directions, and it's working out for both of them as it stands right now. You know, like obviously we'll see, you know, which of these plays really ends up paying out more, but I think it just in terms of just like the race and how interesting it is, it's really cool.
Oh,
but oh wow,
goodness,
finding such
sword and the hook shot.
That's
Speed.
really good. Wow. Okay, so what is that? So the sword obviously is just great for the damage. He already had a second one, which does allow him to, you know, get to Aghanim, beat Ganon, etc. But what about that hook shot? Why is that so important to see right now?
Oh, it's such a huge item in that it gets you to East Death Mountain, and we have logical access to that entire area. 8 different checks, and if somehow we find the hammer, we can get up to Green Pendant Hera. I don't know if we'll hold our breath on that one, but it's also pretty interesting item once you get to the Dark World. If we do end up finding flippers, oh wait, no, we already have a glove. So with the glove and the hook shot, we can actually cross over to like Thieves Town area with that hook shot, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, it allows for a lot of Dark World access right now. And there's that other item that they would need to get to Aghanim. It's the magic cape
here. I mean, I don't expect these guys to make that play until they really have to, but it's pretty interesting. But with the fact that like Gravity and Faria are available, I have a feeling that both of these guys are probably going to stick to Super Metroid for a little while, maybe a long while.
I also want to amend my statement from earlier. I said that the wall jump that Azder was doing to get up Bubble Mountain here was really only faster if you were able to do it in the first try. I had forgotten that he does not have high jump, so that does make it a little bit more appealing to go for that that wall jump that he did. And it probably still ended up saving him time, because otherwise you'd need to go into the save room and waste 2 door transitions, which is about like 4 extra seconds. So
that was some excellent Dopplering from Solski there to take down Fantoon. So look, these guys are tied up 1 boss apiece at the moment.
Absolutely, really, really great here. Let's see this this Crocomire fight here. How many
mini bosses? Because I mean, Azder's about to pull ahead on that count.
No, because Solsti's got Bomb Chorizo.
Solsti's got Bomb Chorizo! You're right! The plays!
The plays. The Bomb Chorizo that he had to fight because he has bombs.
True.
Azder actually running a little bit low on the ammo here, deciding to actually farm up some Crocomire ammo. Ammo at Croc.
Not a bad idea, just play it safe.
Just in case you end up missing all your shots. That could be a pretty nasty fight. He could push you back a lot. You could lose a lot of time if you run out of ammo on Crocomire, depending on RNG.
Yeah, Solski actually sitting at a much more comfortable ammo count than Azder right now. I mean, I imagine we'll see Azder farm a little bit here, but just the max counts are, you can see the difference. 20 supers, 20 power bombs. That's a huge difference.
It like on paper, it's like this early on when the counts are these numbers specifically. It's one of those situations where like if you know Solski had like 50 and 50 and Azder had 40 and 40, that doesn't really matter. That difference is negligible. But at like this stage with this low of count, the difference is actually much larger at this point.
I do want to point out that Azder just did a sick damage boost.
It was
there to get to that Crocomire Peeb item. That was amazing. Much faster than bomb jumping there.
Yep.
Solski hitting up the save and resetting there after seeing a dead check over in the wreck ship E-Tank location.
Yeah, well, it's like the race game, you know? It's another one of those decisions where you decide to take a little bit of a possible time loss to assume that the item is bad and you don't need it. To try and save yourself. It's like it's just like a time investment, I guess, is the best way to put it. You know, because you got to check the item anyway, right? And so the save means you have to do a little bit of backtracking. But that backtracking is less time than if you went into that item, it wasn't good, and you had to backtrack all the way through the spiky room of death again. So it's just another one of those, you know, time investment things.
Yeah, exactly.
That you can do.
Just a
so
missile
far,
pack up in the attic, so Wreckship not really being too kind here. So
well, I mean, yeah, neither of this whole Croc area. I mean, obviously we found a cape, a sword, a hookshot, and the rest of Norfair. But the rest of Norfair has been pretty dry. So I'm curious to see what Azder's play is. It's pretty obviously going to be going to East Death Mountain with that hookshot. And we'll see if that nets him any more progression, or if he's going to need to end up then going to the rest of Brinstar for other progression. That we know is there. Oh my god!
So there's a glove at Wreckship Reserve. What does that mean?
Oh baby! Alright, so the only way to access that item is with Speed Booster. It is Speed Booster locked. So, in order to get the Titan's Mitt, so we know, it would be Solski's first glove at this point, but we know it would be the Titan's Mitts. They're gonna have to come all the way back through the wrecked ship for that item. It is a long backtrack. It feels really bad to have to do that, but both players are gonna need to do this, unless Azder, before he heads to wrecked ship, can end up finding Speed Booster and just get it there on his first pass through, which would be ideal. So that's what?
Easy game.
Oh, or this can happen immediately and everything is fine. Oh, dude. Oh man, that's beautiful. That's what you like to see. That's what you like to see. So now Solski is just gonna get this item, and then he's gonna go get his glove, and he's feeling really good about that right now.
Feeling really, really good about this, and you know he's gonna stumble into the Various suit and find the glove. Like, those are kind of on path. Like, he could elect to ignore Norfair for a bit, but it's still a lot of checks. I think Solski's in a really good position right now, but let's see what turns up here in Paradox Cave, because this is a lot of checks.
It is a lot of checks, yeah. I am inclined to agree with you, though. Oh, the flippers and the bottle. Okay, so those are both unlocking more checks.
Yeah, Solski did get a bottle in Green Brinstar at Edikune's E-Tank, so they both have a bottle now. So if there is progression, they both have access to it.
Okay, I missed that bottle earlier, but the flippers do unlock more checks. Checks that you pretty much otherwise could have gotten already with the fake flippering that you had mentioned earlier. Other than those things, we've only got one check left. We've got the Spiral Cave here on Death Mountain for Azder.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long walk through there. Well, if Solski comes up here, then I imagine you'll see some running with those boots.
Hey, look, an arrow capacity. Nothing else to see here. Oh wait, there's a glove.
Good health management there from Solski, jumping before activating the Shine Spark to preserve some health. Yeah, I mean, without the Various suit, things actually do a lot of damage for Solski right now, so he's being pretty cognizant of that, and it's always good to see. I mean, he does have the ammo for Crystal Flash, but generally you don't want to waste the ammo on that when you could just, preserve it in other ways.
Yeah. It's like, what's interesting is the suit's functionality has changed in the combo randomizer to make them more viable. Because before, the Gravity suit basically did everything that the Various suit did, but better, with more stuff. And so now Gravity has been, in a sense, nerfed, and Varia has been buffed. If you want to put it in that way, to make them pretty much both, required, quote-unquote. You definitely want both of them now, because the damages have kind of been changed. So environmental damage still does the amount of damage as if you had no suits with Gravity, whereas it still does its full 75% reduction against enemy damage. Whereas the environmental damage on with Various suit is reduced to 75% of what it is as if you had Gravity, and only the 50% damage reduction against enemies as normal.
So, Oster finding the flute here in Waterfall Fairy Cave. You know, I like that he's pushing the items that he's collected and just keep, like, continuing down the chain. That flute is pretty significant because we know we have access to mids. So it actually gives us logical access to Lower Norfair and the Mire area. So pretty awesome. We have swords, we have an ether, we have a hook shot to go in. That could be an interesting choice. But yeah, without Red Cane, it's maybe a bit dangerous to make that play. But you know, there's a lot of options right now with mitts available logically. Now, interestingly, we were seeing Solski dodging the going down Red Tower. This is interesting.
I'm not entirely sure what his plan is here. Maybe he's thinking...
Maybe he's thinking back of escape?
Yeah, maybe he's thinking back of escape. Maybe he's thinking he's going to go through A Link to the Past into Business Center, and then because of this refill...
He hasn't done like Blue Bryn. Maybe he's going back for that, and Criteria supers into Waterway. Like, maybe he's cleaning that up, because that seems like an interesting route to go down Red Tower.
Yeah, actually,
just clean up all the SM locations. Seems fairly efficient.
Especially knocking out that Waterway check. That's one that is just in, you know, 95% of your seeds getting left behind until the end of the game. You know, if checked at all. So getting speed relatively early, you know, it's a pretty nice to be able to check.
Yeah, and I mean, leaving these behind, you know, he's probably feeling pretty good about the plays he's made so far.
I would be, for sure.
Yeah, like he skipped Dark Cross, like he skipped like some of these longer checks that didn't pay out for Azder. I guess this is a longer check that didn't pay out for him with that single arrow.
He's got to be careful with his health here, though. He's taking a full 60 damage. Okay, I just wanted to mention that so people could sweat it out a little bit for Solski. But he made it. Sorry to interrupt you there.
But probably thinking that Azder has hit up these locations already, because they're so early in the game. He's probably just de-risking them.
Right.
And remember, we already came down here and checked Old Mother Brain, Morph Pedestal. He doesn't know what's in the ceiling, and he can get all of Billy Mays and then head over to Waterway and then go down Red Tower. So I kind of like the route here. It's very thorough, and he's just, you know, cleaning up all these things, knowing that he has like a pretty insane movement items at the moment. Okay, so this is good for Azder. He's heading for Eastern Palace, or at least Sahasrahla. And if he does dip, Eastern Palace will get the Pegasus boots, which will kind of put them more on even footing in Link to the Past.
Right. As I was mentioning before, like with the high jump in Super Metroid, basically like the longer that Solski was in Link to the Past with those boots, that Azder didn't have them, is just like an inherent advantage. Although he basically only did like bonk rocks.
Escape, basically,
and
I think is the main time difference, I would say.
Yeah, it's like he did not spend almost any time to gain any time over Azder with those boots in Link to era. He's not, though. He's not going into Eastern.
Interesting. He's pushing for Agana prior to Eastern. That's a pretty aggressive choice, given the fact that he skipped all of Green Brinstar right now.
All of Green Brinstar? I mean, and you're just at Eastern. You know, there are 2, potentially 3 checks right there for you. It's a little bit of a walk to get back there as well. I'm not so sure about this, but we'll see if there's something good here, you know? Could be a hammer or something, or a wave to put that Moon Pearl in logic.
Or a red rupee.
Or just a red roop.
Alright, so I think this is going to be the Brinstar cleanup. I would hope.
And
and
gravity as well, acquisition.
Oh,
here.
he's gonna go check it and be sad that he didn't go vanilla.
Oh no.
But it makes sense. You want to get Bomb Chorizo out of the way.
All right, so it's so much a peace of mind thing is doing this waterway check. Obviously didn't pay off, but I think that with the route that Solski took, it was actually very efficient to route it in this way.
With
and now
where it was hard for like things to work out super efficiently anyways, and I think it might have been the best he could have done to get all those locations routed together.
Yes. So of note, since Azder is not doing his Brinstar cleanup right now, I don't know if he goes into wreck ship. Knowing what we know, I mean, obviously, like, it's good. He's gonna get his speed booster and whatnot,
and his mitts,
and his mitts.
Dark Death Mountain, which is, you know, I think Solski's gonna probably stumble into that fairly soon.
But the problem here is that Solski had high jump going in there, and Azder does not, and that's
and gravity.
It's not, and gravity
too. Yeah.
It does. It's definitely not cannot be understated or overstated. Excuse me. The importance of having the high jump and also that gravity. And as far as Azder knows, this is illogical. This is what he's doing right now. Going to wreck ship.
Nice diagonal bomb jumping there, though. That was sick.
It sure was. Nicely done.
Solski trying to get a spark there. Unfortunately misses it. Good effort, though.
So in order to go to Lower Norfair, these players actually are going to end up having that. Well, Solski is going to have the access here once he gets the mitts. His flute was behind those flippers, so which were at
Paradox.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah,
Which is interesting because that means you like. Ideally, you want to go to Speed Booster after Lower Norfair. Like, that's the faster route in general. But in this case, you have to get your hook shot there in order to even do it in the first place. So,
yes.
You know, with Solski could be enticed by Dark World access here and skip the Upper Norfair checks, potentially. I mean, he doesn't know where Flute is. He doesn't know where flippers are, so you have to think about, like, he doesn't know where hookshot is. Like, he might be thinking, oh, I have mitts and Moon Pearl and boots. I can do a lot in the Dark World and just kind of run through it. He doesn't have hammer, which is kind of a big item. That might dissuade him from going to the Dark World right now. But he also has a really insane movement items in Super Metroid, and he has gravity and Varia, so he could do Meridia instead of Norfair.
He could. I mean, he's got the speed booster, you know? Like,
yeah.
The only thing that's really unavailable to him in Meridia is going to be Shack Tool. Well, logically. I mean, he's got there's some dumb ways that he could get it. But, he's pretty much got the entirety of Meridia available. So it's totally possible. But I'm also wondering, you know, we got to wait and see, like, once he finds his Dark World access at at high jump with his Titan's mitts, we'll see what he elects to do. Keeping in mind again that Moon Pearl is illogical until Wave is found.
True. Gonna go, you know, check the high jump area, and this is where, you know, this will be an interesting decision point for Solski.
So good. I mean, it's good to just continue to do these last like peripheral checks here in Norfair, before he. And then, I mean, I'm assuming, regardless of what he decides to do, you know, just doing the old man, and those couple of checks. He doesn't have the the hook shot right now, obviously, but getting that that save and quit point really good. Especially, you know, he's also got those boots too, speeds it up as well. So we're going to see some of the sponge bath bomb jump here from Azder. Excellent job. Just took a couple of tries there to get it. Nicely done.
Very
done.
Yeah,
You got to lay the bomb right at the top of the at the water as you start to descend from your jump, and then jump and basically unmorph as early as possible when you touch the ground, and then jump up again right away in order to get boosted up by that bomb. It's also possible to do with power bombs as well.
Azder saw the super missile there, but unfortunately fell into the water, so doesn't get to pick it up here. Maybe we'll go back to collect it.
If I were him with
like
only 15, I would definitely go get it. Especially because like you committed the time to come in here anyway, and you didn't save to reset out. That just kind of makes me feel like, especially like again like with the 15, like it's just the supers at this point are so nice to have. With no beams, no charge, it's just like their value just compounds.
So of note, Solski elected not to go to Norfair presently. I mean, he is doing this back of escape play, so he'll probably clean this whole thing out. Although I think the map was in Dark Cross, so he can actually just leave. I thought it was. Maybe I'm wrong. But
was it Boomerang Chest?
Oh, maybe it was Boomerang Chest. My bad. So yeah, he's gonna expend the time here, but he does have boots, and things are going quick. I'm a little surprised he didn't do King's Tomb there, but it's maybe easy to forget in the moment. You just got your mitts, trying to process all these items that you're getting. Like, do I go to the Dark World? Do I go to Village of Outcast portal? There's interesting options available. Like, do I go to Norfair with all my speed booster and high jump and everything I have?
Well, it was the map.
Okay,
you're right.
Crazy.
Yeah, no, I'm the crazy one. I do want to that's a good point that you make, though. I want to reiterate that, like, when you're getting so many of these items so quickly, like, you do need time to kind of just, like, process it and think about, like, okay, what all checks do I have available to me? Like, I have all of these different things that I can be doing. It can be easy to overlook something.
Yeah, and you see Solski, jumping back in there for King's Tomb, so heading back to the cemetery. Azder probably feeling pretty bad right now, but gonna be saved in a moment with the speed booster location. But yeah, I think we're seeing Solski push into the Village of Outcasts, so we're probably gonna get a Dark World map check, which will be really interesting to see. He could also turn in that bottle. That's an available option. But instead, he's going where? Just said hi to that guard real quick. What's up, bro?
And here's that point where Azder is like, oh, thank God. Both of these players doing awesome single bomb jumps, including a power bomb in them to open up that item to get it.
I love it.
Alternatively, I mean, you could just, do double bomb jumps and then unmorph at the top and shoot the item and grab it that way. But, it's tricky to do it the way either of those is tricky, because with the power bomb, well, let's just take a look here. So we've got Skullwoods and Turtle Rock are the other two pendants.
I'm so glad we have that fire rod.
And the 5-6, was it
Ice Palace?
Ice. Okay, yeah, I thought so. But both of those bomb jump methods I was mentioning are tricky. The one that both of these players decided to do with the power bomb in there is hard because it introduces all that lag, and so it changes up the timing of your bomb jumps.
So Solski did find one item already in Skull Woods here. Just gonna go ahead and check some of these early locations. We'll see if he decides to push further into the dungeon if there's still a remaining item. But, you know, if he finds another item here quickly... Hey, a red cane! That seems like a good item.
Wow.
Then he can immediately leave.
Yeah, I mean, the only other reason to continue would be is if he's planning on pulling Pedestal later, which, I mean, is so not
Way
within
too
the scope
early
of... Yeah,
to be thinking about it. Yeah.
it's not at all within the scope of consideration right now. So he's just going to peace out immediately. That red cane is really great, considering, you know, we have almost what we need to get into Meyer, potentially, if it is Ether. You know, we have all of the other items to... Us as commentators in our omniscience know where all of the items are to access Meyer.
Yeah, that's a really good place for the elusive hammer to hide as well. But again, we do need to have Ether in order to, you know, for Meyer in order to actually complete that or get in the first place.
Yeah, it's entirely possible. It could just be one of the other medallions too. Taking time to redesign. Intentionally, I'm sure.
Kids, stay in school. Read. Read good.
Read.
Ooh. A bow. We're finding all the value here in the West Dark World. In the Sea House there. So what does the bow open up for us, Wild?
So... I don't think there are any items left in Eastern. Did they get all of them? Or was there still one left? I don't recall.
I don't recall either.
So, well, either way, it gets you the progression crystal at Eastern. Maybe an item. I don't remember entirely. I was just so hyped about the boots that were there. All items are found. Okay, so Eastern is a crystal. It, you know, is gonna allow for all of Pod except for the boss to be logically accessed and completed. In addition to it just being a great weapon to use with only Master Sword, it can definitely be nice to use, like against Vitreous, for example. Can do a lot of damage. So it's obviously also required to actually beat the game. So
we're seeing Azder come back to Brinstar now with Speed Booster in tow, so actually going to be able to clean up these locations and finally find that Moon Pearl. Maybe feeling a little bad about it, considering he attempted to get that earlier and just wasn't able to. But that's going to lead him to the Gravity Suit, which is going to be an important item as well. So I'm hoping that he heads up there and checks it.
Yes.
Alright, so here we go into Thieves Town, which is always a bit of a gamble, in my opinion, when you don't have the hammer, because one of the items is locked behind the hammer. We already found the small key to unlock the door down by the big chest where the hammer is required, so it's kind of annoying to come in here.
It's not looking good for Solski to get out of here without with collecting all the items in this dungeon. At this point, there's a pretty solid chance that there's going to be an item locked in that chest. But only time will tell.
Only time will tell, and we're gonna get a look at this Moon Pearl again when Azder collects it. Nails
only
the
got
second
5.
try.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say his ammo's a little low. Let's see if he can do it this time. And nailed it for sure. There it is.
So the gears are probably turning in Azder's head. It's like, uh-oh. How do I how do I push this? And I mean, honestly, you probably have to be thinking that you did Norfair early and found that hook shot. So like Dark Death Mountain might be a pretty good thing to push right now to maybe try to get back in it. And we'll see. Because I think Solski, you know, having these boots, having that Moon Pearl early, just had more time to digest information and decide where to go. And I don't know, his route just seemed cleaner. Now missing hookshot, that's gonna hurt Solski a bit here as well. So it's interesting how these paths have diverged.
Yeah, I mean, if if Azder is able to find some value behind that hook shot, you know, on Dark Death Mountain, it can definitely put him in a pretty good position over Solski, depending on how long it takes Solski to get to that hook shot.
Definitely.
Which, as you mentioned, if he decides to end up doing lower Norfair before upper Norfair, as efficiency would dictate, that's going to just make it take even longer for him to get.
Yeah, the weird thing about that is, like, he has to consciously gravity jump and like, think about it as a sequence break if he's doing it, or sequence break flute, but with, you know, water walking to the waterfall cave. Like, there are options available to do it. It's just that they're going to appear like a sequence break to Solski. Which may push him further and further away from it right now. That's the weird part, is that you have to kind of double dip Norfair, or at least go into upper Norfair, before you go into lower Norfair logically, based on what we know. Now, if Solski happens to find Space Jump, then things are going to look a little bit better for lower Norfair, and that could be a good reason for him to go there.
Right.
Nothing at the digging game, only a few digs. That was nice. Alright, Azder's gonna get the news about the back of the gauntlet here shortly. Then we'll have to see. There's still all of Meridia to check out here, too.
There's a lot of things to be doing there. Could absolutely have, like, the wave, you know, we still need for the Dark World access. Wave could be like at Pyramid. Well, there's a charge beam.
And an ice rod.
And oh god.
Oh goodness. What a hype cave. You know, we might actually, like, we're a hammer away from potentially entering Turtle Rock. That's terrifying.
Not just Turtle Rock. Pendant Turtle Rock.
That's why it's so terrifying. Yep. Solski intelligently grabbing some bombs here. Interesting. So where are you going, Solski? What are you doing? Is this like a kern jump play? I'm starting to think that that's what he's doing. I mean, I guess he could have got there with boots, but this might be faster to just get where he wants to be.
Kern jump? What is that?
Yeah, so assuming Solski is going in that direction, we're gonna see it, but it's a bomb jump that lets you perform a fake flippers to get to the East Dark World without maybe logically having to fight Aghanim or something. But let's see. Going back into Skull Woods. Okay, he's getting the water walk here. So he's not kern jumping. He's setting up a water walk there by the by the pits there, if you dash near them, you can set up a water walk and then actually just not have to do the current jump at all. Looks like he got it. You can test the water walk on that ladder there. If you're moving a little bit faster than you normally do, then you're good to go. You just have to fall into the water here from above, as you're going to see Solski do, and then you just get to walk right over the water, and looks like... Is he going to the back of Meridia? Spicy!
Interesting. I like this. This is awesome.
So these are logical, like, choices for Solski. He's just kind of getting to the back before he gets through the front, I guess, if he decides to go that way. So that's pretty neat.
So this is really great. I definitely like starting from the back of Meridia. I feel like it's just it's more of an efficient route to go through Meridia this way. I really like this play. It's kind of like it's just an interesting way of going about it. I love all these interesting things that you can do and access to places that you can get in combo rando just because of the nature of it, and just because there are portals and because of the different like glitches and sequence breaks that you can do. It just makes it so interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about a completely different thing, and then he did a different one than what I was talking about. So it's pretty amazing to see all these different strategies. Azder discovering that Bombos is the requirement for Misery Mire, so we're gonna have to be on the lookout for that, because Misery Mire is required. And he's not really punished in that sense, because he still doesn't have his red cane at the moment. We know that's in Sea House. Solski going to fight Dragon here. We're going to see some fast pillars over on Azder's side. We're going to see some slow pillars on Azder's side.
So, Azder did not do Gold Chorizo.
Correct.
And it makes a lot of sense in one sense, and not a lot of sense in another sense. With like what he has right now, no charge, 40 supers, no other beams to speak of. That fight would take a while and consume all of his super missiles, essentially, almost all of them, and then he would need to spend quite a bit of time farming them back up to fight Ridley. For one item acquisition and knowledge of another that he would need space jump for. So it's an interesting decision to not do that. Personally, it's not a decision I would make. That's not to say that it's the wrong choice. I prefer to be more efficient and thorough when going through my checks, and not isolate them. But again, like, those are the kind of things, those are the kind of decisions that you need to make to gain little bits of time over your opponent here in the finals.
Yeah, you got to make some plays in the finals. Like, these guys got here by making plays and making the right plays. We'll see if it was the right play. Perhaps it could just be an easy check the items and reset later, but right now just wants to clean up the higher density options in Lower Norfair, because, you know, eventually, if he finds Bombos somewhere, I mean, yeah, Bombos could be at at GT itself, but
oh my.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice aqueduct there. But you know, he might be able to route that in later.
Yeah, and I mean, and with the flute too, like, it's pretty quick. But the Quake and the Plasma Beam, pretty great in the aqueduct there. Combined with that charge beam, that's really going to be nice. Some nice damage there for Solski. So the save, pretty traditional route here to check these sand pits. You want to save, and then if the sand pits are bad, you can just reset and check the other ones and just head back up. Instead of having to take a huge, long backtrack all the way back around Meridia.
Solski's kind of exhausted most of the uses for X-Ray here, so not really worth picking up at this stage. Gonna go ahead and reset that. And
Yeah, he's
Azder
gonna do
with
that.
A very clean Ridley fight, taking him down. 3 bosses in SM apiece. Solski up 1 Link to the Past Crystal Dungeon, but these guys have very different progression items right now. So anyone's game at the moment. Okay, never mind. Oh, he didn't pick it up. He didn't pick up the shield.
It's
All right,
just...
never mind. Rip. It's over.
Oh, okay. Hey, look at that. That's a spicy mirror. Debated. What's that mirror doing for Solski right now?
It's getting him to Pendant Hera. There's a couple interesting things. It's probably making him regret his Dark World play earlier, because he could have actually accessed that mirror earlier if he had just gone into Meridia prior to going into the Dark World, and then just had that for K45 for convenient access to Smith Chain, Graveyard Ledge. But other than that, it's not doing too much. I mean, like Pendant Hera, I don't think anybody wants to go there right now, but he might be thinking about it soon.
I mean, he's got like swamp.
He doesn't have flippers.
I mean, it's the last item that we know that would be required, that they'd need to get into swamp.
To get to get a hammer in the first chest of swamp.
Yeah, exactly. It's just going in
for the dream.
First check in swamp dream.
Yeah, checkerboard is available illogically from Solski's perspective, but that is an available check that we know is in logic from looking at both of these players collectively. Solski struggling a little bit here in the plasma room, but having picked up the mirror, he doesn't want to reset at this point, so he's just keeping that and moving on, because you do have to go down through that sand pit, and likely we're going to see cleanup of the front side of Meridia. He might just enter from the front again, but it'll be interesting to see how he routes this, because he still has all of Upper Norfair available, and Lower Norfair, really, because you can easily sequence break in his position.
And speaking of easily sequence breaking into Lower Norfair, we know that the required access into Lower Norfair is through Link to the Past, because we did just find the space jump in the last check in Lower Norfair, which is required for the logical progression from SM into Lower Norfair.
All right, so where is Azder going? That's the real question. Maybe that Dark Death Mountain play. I mean, he could just finish SM and go towards Dragon. That's another option. We'll know he'll find the mirror there. But a lot of different good options available. Solski cleaning up the rest of Meridia here. Pretty quick checks for fairly high density, so like items per minute. These are quite strong. Going up to Watering Hole might sink a little bit of time.
Sink.
Please.
But we are seeing Azder head on into Meridia, though. So we might have a little bit of a high five situation. And there's our final sword.
All right. Solski making sure to shoot every single baby turtle in that room.
Quite intentionally, it seemed. So the mirror, the quake, the plasma, a sword. Meridia had a bit of items here. Solski running a little bit low on his health. Quite a difference between energy tanks between the two players here. Meridia, there's a lot of shine sparks that you can do to go quickly. Lots of damage boosts, and the enemies in this area, even with gravity, they still do quite a bit of damage. And so he's gotta be a little bit careful with everything that with the damage that he's taking.
You know, azder does get a little bit of movement advantage here from having space jump in Meridian, so that's pretty good. Now, azder did skip the butter sword. I'm a little surprised considering he hasn't taken down any Link to the Past bosses yet. But you know, probably just feels pretty comfortable with it, so just gonna keep moving, and I'm sure half magic is a nice comfort there too.
I mean, and especially with the space jump, makes it really easy to grab.
So we'll have to see where Solski ends up. I don't think we've seen either of these players check X-ray, which is an available option. And I mean, with Solski's health, I would probably refill at the recharge station if he elected to do that, since he doesn't have the space jump right now.
But does he know that that's there?
That's a good question. He's known to skip that, so...
Gotta take a little poke at Solski.
Nice clip there through the tube. No time of day for X-ray. azder getting the payday over an aqueduct, and let's see where Solski goes if he's gonna make this upper Norfair play. Pretty logical one to make, and looks like heading into ice now. These guys might sync up pretty well. I know we know that azder does not have the boots yet in Link to the Past, though, in Eastern Palace, so that's giving Solski kind of an edge there. Solski's already made some good headway.
Yeah, and you know, like, if he ends up going into Dark World before Eastern, I mean, he's gonna find the bow, right? And then it's gonna take him over there, of course. But it's just like the longer he's in Link to the Past without those boots, especially like going through all those Dark World checks, that's a lot of checks that he's going to get before he ends up finally getting over to Eastern.
Exactly. So azder is keeping the mirror, having checked the sandpit prior to fighting Dragon, so this is interesting. Maybe trying to set up so he can just exit through the Meridia portal after Dragon, could potentially just skip Plasma or like save at the Dragon save and then reset there. Could be an option. Some interesting choices to be made. What to skip, what to check.
Right.
How much you want to, how aggressive you want to play.
We're seeing the power of charge and plasma against this here Crocomire. One notable change I would make is a horizontal instead of a diagonal shot. But still, it gets the job done.
So interestingly, we're actually not that far away from go mode here. We're missing the important hammer, and we need the Bombos medallion in order to get into Misery Mire. I think that's it.
Yeah, and I mean, excuse me. Obviously, Wave, to logically put that Moon Pearl in logic is still really. I'm really curious as to where it is now. The number of places that it can be are dwindling. Technically, I suppose it could be on the pyramid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, flippers are pretty easy to get there too. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, but for Moon Pearl, yeah. Wave could be on the pyramid. You're right. But we also have GT, and that azder skipped. We have X-ray, which we know is available. Like, Space Jump unlocked some locations logically.
It sure did. There are very few checks in A Link to the Past. that it could be, obviously, it can't. The only place it could really be in the Dark World is going to be Pyramid. Light World checks that they have still would be, I guess, because of the mirror being in Super Metroid, it could be.
It could be like checkerboard desert. Like
it could be checkerboard or desert. It could be Tower of Hera. I don't know if there are any other checks remaining that they have available in the Light World.
Yeah, that we haven't seen. Yeah, no, I'm not sure. Not that these guys care at all, but
exactly. No, this is just
interesting.
Fun little thought,
logical thing.
Yeah. But yeah, so let's see where Solski decides to go. He needs to do the rest of. Okay, so yeah, he's actually just shine-sparking across this room. Pretty interesting. And should do.
Looks like he might go to Lower Norfair before Upper Norfair cleanup, which is efficient.
Yeah, I mean, technically, like, this is the fastest way to do this. Like, if you have not done Upper Norfair yet, and you have access and are comfortable with doing Lower Norfair, doing that first, and then doing the rest of your Upper Norfair checks is more efficient because it just spits you out right there. So it is looking like that is what he's going to be doing. Attempting a Lava Spark.
Didn't quite get it there, but the gravity jump is pretty free.
Yep. It is a difficult Shine Spark as well.
Solski also probably hoping that he can get into Mire and finish it while he's here, because he has, Red Cane, boots, fire swords, 2 medallions, and plenty of swords. So, unfortunately, he will not be able to, and that's gonna kind of be unfortunate for him. And maybe he'll stumble into Flute, maybe he won't, but that's kind of important right now. Not gonna be able to take the vanilla way to Golden Torizo, as he doesn't have the space jump, which is at the end of Lower Norfair. The statue that you need to lower the acid to get down to the GT missile item is blocked by space jump.
So technically, logical, as far as Solski is aware, all of this is just completely illogical. And because the logical access through there would be through the space jump, which we know is at the end, but the actual access into this area is going to be through Link to the Past with that flute.
Whoa!
Oh no!
Well, there's the hammer and magic powder, so there you go. You can do your magic bat now.
Oh,
over
man.
at Golden Torizo. That is huge.
Remember when we were talking about how in the finals you gotta make plays and you gotta make gambles? This was a gamble, and it was a bad one. Well, retrospectively, I should
exactly.
say.
Yeah.
Like the fact that it was made in the first place wasn't bad. It didn't
work out.
Pay off at all. So that's really good for Solski and really bad for Azder. We have no idea when he's going to head back in there, because I mean, obviously, again, he's got the flute. It's a pretty quick check to get back there with that flute to get to that area, but like, we have no idea when he's going to head back there. It might not be until after he's found Bombos to go to Mire. That he might
going to Palace of Darkness right now, which is a lot of checks. Credit to Azder for making that play, but without the hammer, you can't finish it. So it's gonna slow him down even further. Now, if he finds Bombos in here, I could see him, dropping into Mire, peeking for hammer, because he would be able to complete Misery Mire, and then potentially he could just go and dip GT right there and then.
Yeah,
that would be the opportunity, and check out Desert and Checkerboard and all that.
Yep.
But you gotta expect Solski to be heading towards, you know, Pod and Eastern and stuff after all this is said and done. Because that's going to be available. I mean, he's going to have everything available, because he'll end up running into Hookshot if he's full clearing Upper Norfair. He's going to be able to do Swamp. He's going to be able to do, you know, Ice Palace, Eastern Palace. He's going to be able to finish Desert while he's here as well. So he's just going to be able to clear all the Crystal Dungeons he can quite efficiently, other than Mire, really.
Yeah. He's got a lot available and open to him right now. And so again, a reminder, and for those who are coming in just pretty recently here, we know that the hook shot is still required for that Solski needs. He's still lacking it, but it is at the speed booster, along with the final sword, which he will be checking. Well, I would assume he's going to be checking that after he finishes Lower Norfair, which will happen after he finishes Desert. So he'll be running into that, and then from there he's only the Flippers and the Bombos from Go mode. Flippers we know are on in Paradox Cave, the two chests in Paradox Cave, which, I mean, that's going to be something that he's likely going to go for probably pretty soon after finding that hook shot. And then it's just that the Bombos that we still don't know where it is.
Azder electing to warp out of the dungeon here. I think he wants to set up this bomb jump, because he's down a key right now. So we will see this cool bomb jump here in Pod, and Solski finding the bug net in the big chest there in Desert. Not really what you're looking for.
And he's down this key because he can't get to the bow side of Pod. Because he has not been to the Dark World and does not have the bow in the Sea House.
Yeah, definitely still has to make it to Sea House to get the bow, go into Pendant Skull Woods to grab the red cane, and then, of course, GT to get the hammer. So there's a lot of unknowns. I believe the small key was on the torch in Desert, so he actually needs to get his boots, which he has elected not to mirror into Eastern and check here presently, which is really going to cost him a lot of time, because I don't know when he's coming back.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision to not do that, but again, here's the other thing though, is it might not necessarily be a decision that he's making. He could just be forgetting, which is very likely. You know, when you're in the grand finals of a tournament, going up against an opponent like Solski, we've already said that you're having to really think about all the checks that you have, all the possible locations that you need to be looking at or checking, and it's just the stress that just goes along with being on a big stage in a tournament where there's prizes on the line. So. We're gonna see what this pyramid check is not wave. Oh well.
It's not a wave. and you mentioned prizes on the line. I mean, yeah, there's some money cash prizes on the line here. This tournament is sponsored by Rank1.global, and if you head to each of their profiles, you can see cool information about their speed running and fun clips of them and all sorts of cool things. Make your own profile and share it with them or others. It's a neat thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a social media for gamers, if you will. You can just you can connect with other people. As Al was saying, share clips of yourself with others, and share with other people what you're playing, what you're planning on doing. It's just a great way to connect with other like-minded individuals.
All right, so we're gonna see a catfish check. It's a pretty out-of-the-way location right now, so could be a big payoff. Just a red roop. And I think we're gonna see Azder return over to West Dark World, probably do Graveyard Ledge. and head towards Skullwoods and Thieves Town. So probably we'll run into that Red Cane. And we'll probably also see the bow, for sure. Gonna heal up a little bit here, not a bad idea. Maybe buy a potion. And Solski is just flying through these Super Metroid checks here in Lower Norfair.
Not yet. Doesn't have his space jump. But that space pirate did not see what was coming, though.
Yeah, Screw Attack kind of makes Lower Norfair a bit of a joke. Honestly, like, all these enemies just get one shot. Alright, so Azder, considering the high density options he has available, going to head towards Dark Death Mountain right now.
So if Bombos ends up being here, that's going to be pretty good for Azder, because that's hopefully going to push him back toward... obviously it's going to take him to Meyer, but he doesn't have, like, the Red Cane yet, so, like, that's a problem. But it'll at least hopefully take him back in that general vicinity to get his hammer.
But that'll be, like, way too free for Solski is the problem, because Solski gets to do all of East Death Mountain in, like, one shot.
Yep.
So he's gonna, if Bombos is here, he just, like, gets his go mode immediately. So I think, like, Azder needs to make a play into, like, TR or something, honestly, pendant TR, to try to, like, catch up, but he doesn't have hammer to get in. So it's, like, a really bad predicament for Azder right now.
It's not ideal, that's for sure. He's gonna check and see what it is. And we do have Quake.
Again, without the hammer, we can't actually get in. So
that's true.
It's good information, but it's not immediately helpful. I'm sure he has to be really careful.
I really don't want him to fall off. Really, don't do it, please. That would not. That's not a good feel. This counts as a death in the overworld, and then you would not be able to. You'd have to walk all the way back.
Yeah, Barry there. Okay, it takes the death warp. And Solski kind of finishing off Ridley with charge shots now. Maybe he was considering the hair play, or maybe it's just faster. I don't know. It's faster than resetting. Or save quitting. Oh, he preserved his portal. That's what the death warp was for. Neat.
Wow. That's some heads-up plays right there.
That's a sick play, actually.
And Solski gets his red shield.
Pulling ahead.
Here's a graveyard ledge, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, one of these mirror locations could pay off pretty big for Azder, too. Because these might be ones that Solski just neglects for a while. They're just so out of the way. Nothing at graveyard ledge. Honestly, the biggest troll is if, like, Magic Bat or something is required.
God, yeah.
I mean, I guess you have two chances if you can find Mushroom. You can Bat Glitch, but who knows where that is.
Because, I mean, it is available with the space jump at the end of Lower Norfair. Pretty awful place for that to end up being, knowing that the powder is where it is. So Azder coming over here toward Skull Woods. He's gonna find his Red Cane here.
Yeah, I hope he dips Skull Woods. I know it's a pendant, but like at this point, he's kind of trudging slowly through the Dark World. So you want to try to be as efficient as you can when you're missing so many important items.
Right. So where do you think Solski's gonna head after this? He's gonna get his hook shot. Is it just immediately into the hold of Dark Death Mountain, or do you think he's gonna maybe take it to like into start clearing some crystals?
I could see doing like Pod and Eastern first. That's like a pretty safe play. So you kind of have to find your big key in Pod anyways, and the small keys required to get through there. It's fairly dense, and you have to complete it. So I could see that as a play, but I mean, you're gonna be at this Norfair portal on Death Mountain, so density-wise, it kind of just makes sense to do all of Paradox and Dark Death Mountain. You can just do it all in one shot.
Right. And I mean, he also has Spike Cave available to him too, as well, that he can do on the tail end of that. Those checks.
The weird thing about it is, like, it's somewhat enticing to go into Turtle Rock, right? Like, if you're making this play.
Yep.
Because you're just there and you can do it. But you have so many crystals. Like, you gotta be chasing those crystals, because we're starting to enter this late game phase where you just need to be done with your progression. Because you're only a couple items away from go mode, and if you just stumble into them, then you're good to go. And we're gonna see Solski stumble into that hook shot and the sword here shortly. It looks like Oshir's gonna be grabbing silvers. Got his bow already, so good to go there. And unfortunately did not get the red cane. Maybe we'll see that afterwards, but I could also see him heading down to Hype Cave first.
Solski also deciding he missed the jump to get. He bonked on the wall before the sword, and is just deciding not to grab the sword. So, guess Buttersword gets no love today. But now he's got his hook shot.
You guys are memeing. Like, I don't know what's going on here.
I don't know. Gentleman's agreement not to take Buttersword. Who knows?
I guess.
Oh, that's right. The cape is here.
Oh. Azder elected to mirror out of Thieves. Just check the first 4.
Yeah.
Definitely has a cleaner route to do the Smith chain here. Obviously missing out on hammer pegs, but gonna do digging game first, because you can't do the digging game when you have the purple chest, so makes sense.
Yeah.
Solski, routing through this cathedral area to check the final item here in Upper Norfair. Very good routing.
Yeah, good routing. I mean,
going down through ice and stuff, and after already checking high jump, he already scouted the Croc escape item at bottom of Business Center. So just able to hit all these locations pretty efficiently.
And I mean, it's just great that didn't go unchecked, for him, because that's a really easy one to forget, especially when you have a route like he did, where it just completely goes around. Like, when you have Speed Booster, obviously the fastest way into Norfair is going to be through the Frog Speedway, right? So you're going to take that, or, you go his route where you went down through Ice to Croc, into Lower Norfair, just a big circle. And then just going to leave that at the very end, and if, you were trying to go fast, you would go through Frog Speedway, but he was able to remember that he didn't have that checked yet.
And you saw Solski save there. I think he's going to check X-Ray.
And reset back would be a pretty...
Yeah, this is a very long, drawn-out check. This is interesting. Wonder what's going through Solski's mind right now. Like, maybe he's thinking Azder deboosted his way through there or something. Tried to consider this option already, and now he knows it's in logic, so if it is the progression he needs, could be pretty important.
Azder getting his charge and ice now. But yeah, X-Ray is actually a check that is available very early on. All you need is just a couple of E-tanks and some practice.
But it's not within the logic of normal.
Correct. Yes. Good.
Yeah.
Very good. Technicality. There it is. Wow.
Oh my god, now you can get your moon pearl.
Wow. So that's all. It's still because you have to go. You would just be a bunny and go.
Yep.
Flute
Exactly.
flute to 6 and just go into the Mire Dark area as a bunny and go into Lower Norfair, run all the way through to get your space jump to logically get to Wave Beam at X-Ray to get your moon pearl. Hilarious.
Unbelievable.
That is awesome. Oh man, I'm so glad Solski checked that for us. That's wonderful. What a logic sequence. My goodness, you gotta love combo, folks. So good, so good. So now that Ozer's got the bow, he is gotten back toward Eastern, so he's gonna grab his he's gonna get his boots here, and then unfortunately not gonna be able to combo pod with this because he's still missing that hammer. Solski is likely gonna. I don't think he's been into pod yet, so he's gonna have to do all the pod. There might be something bow side or at the boss, which are the items that we haven't seen yet. And then he's just gonna mirror and finish out Eastern, which is there's nothing there, just the crystal. So he's gonna just working on his progression right now.
Yeah, and Azure really needs to check Golden Chorizo. Like, that's what's holding him back right now. It's gonna really give him a lot more checks to do, and potentially make some gambles. Because, I mean, I would feel behind if you know I nearly last locationed something. I mean, he does have some things to do, like he can go into Ice Palace without hammer and stuff. But then he's just getting further and further behind. But like, he really needs to make that play, and you know, we might see Tower Hera first. We might see Skullwoods, which would be good because I mean we need him to get that red cane if he wants to keep making progress. But we're still on the hunt for that Bombos. No one's in go mode yet. And Solski also needs to go grab flippers on East Death Mountain. So there's still some work to be done here.
I mean, and that Bombos could basically be anywhere except it could be on a yeah, it could pretty much just be like wherever at this point.
Yep, pretty much anywhere but Mire.
Yeah. Obviously, like, they're still missing some of the fetch questy items, like the the mushroom, actually all of them, the mushroom, the shovel, and the book.
We know where the powder is, though.
We do know where the powder is. The powder, I guess, yeah. There's the powder that is also available via space jump.
So great that, like, basically Space Jump is a fetch quest. I think
It's
that's
hilarious.
amazing. Yeah. And now it's like a fetch quest within a fetch quest. Like, I consider that one check to be kind of like a fetch quest in a way. It's neat. I guess you can see the item, so there's a little bit of that going on.
Yeah.
Alright, pretty clean Eastern from Azder here. Probably feeling a little behind getting those boots late, but we'll see a quick kill attempt on Armos Knights, as Solski is really doing a good job utilizing the mirror there and his boots to get through pod.
Oh, there was an item in Eastern still. Just a red rupee though. Get really great quick kill there on Armos.
Well done.
Our eggplant is starting to ripen a little bit. Or maybe not, I don't know. Maybe it's starting to rot, who knows. I don't know what colors eggplants get when they...
Okay, so Azder's going desert. This makes sense with the boots in hand. Can check checkerboard, and this is an opportunity for him to go into GT.
It is.
And get that hammer. So be on the lookout for that.
And I mean, that hammer will allow him to make some plays on out of the way checks. Like we've got Spike Cave, we've still got Big Chest and Thieves to check. So those are some out of the way checks that he could go make to hopefully find that Bombos. You know, obviously,
even hammer pegs are pretty out of the way, honestly, at this point.
Yeah. I don't believe he did the Smith chain either, so he would end up doing that as well.
Right, exactly.
And I don't think Solski was able to do it either, because he didn't have the Titan Smiths at that. No, he did. That he had to have.
He did. He just elected not to do that.
He didn't do it either. Okay, I thought I hadn't seen it. So yeah, the Smith's chain is still on.
Well, he didn't have mirror at the time, so like he just absolutely didn't want to do that. It was pretty slow. And, save and quit. And it doesn't have the flute either, so like it's a big time waste.
Right.
But who knows? Maybe Bombos is there.
It's entirely possible.
But I can definitely see Solski sticking to crystals for a little while here. Doesn't have the flippers. Still needs to go up to East Death Mountain and grab those. So that's still kind of like Swamp is not an option for Solski, and that's very dense dungeon right now. Ice Palace is a pretty strong option after he cleans up Eastern here, because it will open up the Pyramid Ferry as well. But he'd be thinking that it's like a sequence break to go into Ice Palace right now because he doesn't have flippers. So it's like a weird one maybe in his shoes. But it is a clearable crystal, and you know, when you can clear crystals, it's well worth it.
Hey, Alu. Super Metroid still isn't cleared. There's a check there that could have Bombos.
What did we miss? What did we skip?
Shack-a-tool. They need to find grapple somewhere, but then my boy Shack-Tool could be hiding that so coveted Bombos.
I was about to say, what did we miss that we could have checked? But we do need to find grapple.
Right.
Yeah.
So grapple could still that's like another fetch quest item. Grapple is a progression item a lot more in normal mode. But at this point, with Space Jump, it's no longer a progression item, and it is strictly a fetch quest at this point to get the access to Shack-Tool.
Yeah, that would be pretty rough. we'll have to run it. I mean, these players could also clip in with Ice Beam, but I don't suspect that either of them would do that, because the only thing that puts Shack-Tool in logic is the grapple beam between those two items. There are other ways, but don't think we'll be seeing that. So Azder is going to be checking checkerboard now, and this is going to be the moment of truth, as Solski had a very nice Helmasaur King fight and cleaned him up with the Silver Arrow.
We just gotta hope he doesn't flute away here.
Yeah. This is a big moment. Okay. Going back in.
There's really nothing else for him to do other than going to Lower Norfair. So this is good. This is good. So he's gonna find his hammer, and who knows? He might go and get the powder. Like,
oh my god,
that would be a play for sure as well that he could do. And there it is.
Either way, he's gonna have to kill Golden Chorizo here to get out. At least he has plasma in charge this time, so he'll go quick. Don't have to worry about farming. We might see Azder just go clean up Thieves Town. Maybe do that Smith chain. Could head down towards Swamp Palace. Could be a pretty good route for him at this stage. Because you got to be thinking about crystals right now. Like, you got to be pushing them, which is probably going to put him further and further away from that red cane, unfortunately. But at least he's going to be making some progress.
It's really, like, it's unfortunate because, like, we're saying that, like, he needs to make a play. to find the bombos, but like he also, as you were saying, he also has to be pushing progression.
Yeah, exactly, because this is a fourth crystal for Solski here, with both of them already having finished all bosses in Super Metroid. So, and Azder's been pretty thorough about checking a lot of the out-of-the-way locations. In fact, I would say Solski hasn't done some of those, and it's probably saving him a considerable amount of time.
Right.
And of course, you know, he had the boots longer too, so that was saving some time as well. So as I mentioned, you know, after Eastern Pod, which is kind of like free in a way, in my mind, because they're crystals, this Death Mountain play is looking pretty good.
Yeah.
Because you potentially could just hit go mode up here and be good to go. We know he's going to find flippers that might push him to Swamp or Ice, which are super fine plays. Like I could see Ice Palace into Swamp Palace into Pyramid Fairy. It's pretty good routing option here.
That would be good, but I mean, also you also mentioned earlier too that there is the potential for him to make a play into TR.
Yeah.
Right now,
we'll
which
because like
besides
that, yeah.
Yeah, like it's a play, like because he's just missing bombos and he's got 2 other crystals that he can easily clear. But you're here, you know, and like TR is dense, so we'll have to wait and see.
I think he thought he was in go mode, but he still needs bombos, so he's going back. I mean, honestly, like that would save him a lot of time if he just skipped the rest of this. But I mean,
yeah,
it's the wrong play, like objectively.
It is.
If you're in his shoes, to skip out on 5 checks like that. All right, save the portal there, so can do the Dark World piece. But yeah, you know, being able to clear all of Tower of Hera, all of Turtle Rock is like, it's a lot of checks, especially with Green Pendant there in Hera. It's like, do you leave those behind? It's a tricky one. I think when you get the flippers like this, you probably just do the crystals. But that's a hard one. Depends how he's feeling right now.
I have no idea what I would do. Like, that's a tough position to be in, you know? It's like, justifications could be made for any choice right now.
Alright, so he knows he can get in.
Really great progress through pod there for Azder. Taking out the mimics and stuff without the silvers really nicely, and a really great Helmasaur fight there as well. So presumably he's gonna just mirror going to Eastern, and then finish that out, and then we'll see what he decides to do from there.
Yeah, doing a great job of just catching up on the progression here. Definitely a good thing to do.
I think Solski's going into TR. Oh
nope!
With the mirror, he selected the mirror. It made me think he was gonna do it. He baited me. That's, you know. Okay, so did he? Oh, he finished East. I'm sorry. If Azder finished Eastern already, I'm a stupid. So now, okay, so going into Ice. Okay, so this is interesting. So
both of these players
Solski,
are going into Ice.
Yeah,
it makes a lot of sense.
It does,
because as I said, it routes Pyramid Fairy really cleanly here. Solski's gonna grab a potion, I imagine, here just to be safe. Not a bad idea. You're kind of walking right by it.
I'm surprised. You know, he could have spent that little bit of money that he had on anything else. He decided to spend his very few sparse rupees on a potion. I guess it makes, because Zora hasn't checked Zora yet, right?
Yeah, so he might end up finding that flute after ice. Like, we could see a mirror, and then potentially...
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
Potentially could go there. We're also likely to see Icebreaker from both of these guys, which is a fun glitch to
Azder does
get
not
through
have
Ice
the red
Palace
cane.
a lot quicker. Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have Red Cane because he didn't go into Skullets.
Sorry to interrupt, but yes, it is a cool thing.
Good call. I mean,
but yeah, Azder cannot do it.
okay, so that'll speed up Solski's clear significantly through this dungeon by about like 30, 40 seconds, something like that, depending on how quickly he gets it.
It's quite substantial.
But, you know, Azder knows the strats. He's been playing Rando for a long time, so probably going to see a bomb jump here. In this room coming up. And here's the Icebreaker from Solski. Laying the block and clipping right on through. There's one item already.
The density of Ice Palace just goes up so much with this icebreaker. Like,
yeah,
you're
it's
able
actually
to...
like a pretty reasonable and fast clear. Kind of used to feel pretty slow. There's another item there in the spike room.
Like, if he finds the third item in one of these last two checks, like, it's just done. Like,
yeah, he's probably gonna check the Binky chest, or maybe he'll do a bomb jump like we saw Azder do. Nope, just gonna go for the big chest.
Dang. So it's not. So there's still one item remaining with two. It's a 50-50 basically, with it either being at Ice Tea or at Cold Stare. And it looks like Solski is gonna go just do the full clear, do the safe thing here.
He hasn't really made too many decisions that would put him behind. So, I mean, obviously he doesn't know that, but you know, like he's probably feeling pretty good about this. Having 4 crystals done, about to clear a 5th one, has access to clear a 6th one, and we're nearing the 2-hour mark here.
Yep.
Or has all SM bosses done. In fact, has full cleared SM minus check tool.
Yeah.
And getting the powder, I guess.
That's a good position. That's a good position to be in.
Yeah. Really, really good efficiencies, and can lose some time doing some of the checks that we've seen Azder do, like catfish and whatnot, but until he does those, he's just saving time.
So I do want to note, you know, Solski did enter Ice Palace after Azder did. Both of them, by no means clearing the dungeon slowly with the strats that they did. It's just, you can see how starkly the amount of time that that the Icebreaker trick saves. Solski's already basically finished with the boss, entering Ice Palace after Azder did. So it saves a pretty hefty amount of time.
And there's the final item, so looks like Azder still has to get the big chest, and then he's gonna go to Cold Stare from there.
So let's see if Solski does that mirror play into those early flipper checks, for that flute, or yeah, for the flute.
Yeah, that'll speed up his route into Misery Mire later on once we find that Bombos. So that's probably pretty nice for him, so he doesn't have to run all the way through Super Metroid to do it.
Yep.
Probably he'll feel pretty good about that.
And so as you mentioned earlier, that is one of the 5-6 crystals.
Yep, the other being Eastern Palace.
Oh, Eastern, right.
Yeah, Eastern and Ice. So, like, again, the route to do Swamp first and then route north to get your big bomb and do Pyramid Fairy just seems clean.
Yes, yes. As well as the pyramid check, which I don't believe Solski has done, and Catfish as well.
That's very true. Yeah.
And then maybe taking it over to Graveyard Ledge, which again is another thing he hasn't checked. That's all assuming, of course, that he does not find Bombos in the Swamp or Pyramid Fairy.
Right, exactly. And since Azder's already done all that, he can just leave immediately. And so we might see these guys sync up in Swamp. Yep.
He is fluting the 4. I can only imagine. Yeah.
But keep in mind, Azder has not been to Skull Woods and has not collected the Red Cane. So while they are very close here, Azder is 2 items away from Go Mode, and Solski is 1 item away from Go Mode. So if Solski finds that Bombos here in Swamp immediately, then, you know, he's a good... who knows how far ahead he is over Azder. I mean, if Azder immediately goes to Skull Woods after, like, Pyramid Fairy or something, then it could be pretty close. But, you know, Solski has the lead right now.
I don't know. It's tough to say, because, I mean, you also have to remember that Solski has the Thieves Crystal over Azder right now as well. Azder has done the first 4 checks in Thieves. But still, like, he's got to climb all the way up to the top, blow up the ceiling, and then beat the boss. So he does have that over him as well.
Mm-hmm. I thought maybe, like, finishing up Thieves and then routing down with the Smith Chain would have been efficient for Azder, but maybe he just feels like he needs to be in the highest density option he has.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you can't blame him for that, right?
Right.
Like,
yeah, for sure. But, you know... Oh, there it is!
Oh, man. Immediately. Remember when we were saying we could go in here without the hammer for a first chest hammer dream? Oh, man.
I mean, it wouldn't have led to hammer, but maybe it kind of would have. Honestly,
yeah.
Honestly, it might have helped Azder a lot. Because he would have been able to get that hammer very quickly.
It would have taken him back to that direction anyway. So that is Go Mode for Solski. Again, as Alu was saying, Azder is still down the Red Cane, which is going to be in Skull Woods in the... Is it the
first room if you fall down, like, on the left side? Yeah.
Right.
I don't actually know what the name of that room is. But
yeah.
It's where the holes open up once you collect the item.
Yes, that one. So depending on where the Big Key and Mire is, that could be a pretty quick clear as well. If it's really deep, though, obviously it's bad. Oh, so we're also going to see another really cool new piece of tech here. Diver Down.
Yep, just kind of wedge yourself in between the Samaria block and the railing there, and you can just kind of clip right on through.
Yeah.
It's great. Just checking those items. I guess for Ice Beam, that's something that would be very convenient right now. We know he's not going to find Wave, because that's chilling at X-Ray.
Yeah, you know, honestly, I'm surprised he didn't actually grab it, because it would be a pretty decent source of damage against Mother Brain. I mean, it wouldn't take that long to do, but I mean, also, I mean, again, like, you got to save little bits of time where you can. That's a tricky one, because I'm pretty sure the time it would have taken to grab Wave and leave is shorter than the amount of time that you're losing by not having that extra damage on Mother Brain. Also, let's take a look at this. Wow, that was really great. I don't know, killing of the puffs. Not quite the quick kill, because it doesn't like zero cycle him, but it was still really, really great. Got so many puffs there on Argus for Solski.
Azder grabbing the old spring ball out of the waterfall chest. So we'll see if Azder attempts this as well. It's a quick kill. And Solski needs to activate that flute, so that's where he's heading now.
Yep. Oh, there's that cool tech. Use in the mirror to take yourself to the beginning of the sanctuary. I've always wondered whether or not that's actually faster when you have the boots, because of the menu. Because you're always going to have the menu, but it's a very, very short menu, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I'm not 100% sure on that one. Looks like azder is just gonna route north towards Thieves. Hit up these mirror spots. Oh, okay. He's just gonna float. Or... what's he doing? Ah,
was the shovel somewhere in the swamp? I don't remember where I didn't see the shovel.
It was below the big chest.
Ah, yes. Yes, of course. Was just testing you. Making sure you're keeping you on your toes.
Did I pass, teacher?
Yes.
Alright, so let's check out this Mire 2. Always love to see the strats used in Mire 2.
Oh, it's cool.
Using some sword beams. Using some sword beams. Has the fire rod out. Doesn't even use it. What is this?
Using the combination of the sword beams and the fire rod, you're able to kill all... well, it is possible to kill all those enemies before the wizards disappear, and you don't have to wait for them to cycle back. So let's take a look and see if we're going to get this big key early on here, or is it going to be more of a lengthy mire. Really nice god pixel there from azder. Didn't even have to buffer it at all, and there it is. And
baby,
here we go.
Here we go.
Solski is going for it. He's halfway there. Maybe regretting going to get those small keys first because he didn't even need the small keys when he gets all the way across with the hovers. Oh my goodness. There he goes.
Beautifully done. On point.
On
with the hovering
point.
there.
Didn't even fall. Excellent. Excellently done. There's the silvers for azder. Now, optimally, he would have just done that chest first and hovered over immediately. Because you don't, when you do that, you don't even need any small keys at all.
Right. I think when they're like both not the big key, it's faster to kind of like route back out that way or something. I don't know. Or if you get the big key, you can just kind of walk north because you can get the small key from the pot and just go. It's I'm not sure.
It's a gamble. I mean, just like everything else, you know? You're just like...
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I also want to shout out Solski not hitting the switch there. Not necessarily something that like he forgets, but something that I forget to do is when I don't hit the switch in Mire and I'm go moding. Initially, like checking the other items, I usually end up hitting it down in the basement and then having to go back and hit it again because I forget that you're not supposed to do it. We're gonna see this Thieves big check.
Yeah, we did. Just a piece of heart, but free Vitreous fight with silvers. It's pretty nice.
Ten arrows done. So that's that. That's the last crystal. So, folks, you know what time it is? What time is it, Alu?
It's time
8:20?
to go to Ganon's Tower. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else, right?
I don't think so. I think it's like 8:20 for most people. Not for me, but, you know.
For most people. I don't know about that. But in the Eastern time zones. Yeah, we're going to Ganon's Tower. We like to play a fun guessing game. 22 locations in Ganon's Tower, and put in the chat 1 through 22. An integer number, I should say. From 1 to 22. And guess where the big key is going to be. What do you think, Wild?
I always like to guess the double firebar chest, which, when you do the left side first, you're going to do Room of Hope, and then you're going to do, and then you just go over to the left side. It usually ends up being chest number 8.
Nice. I always guess number 1. I don't want to deal. I don't want to deal with Ganon's tower. I just want to go. I believe in the room of hope.
Let's see it.
All right, so Usher is actually doing this Smith chain, which kind of pulls him away from Skullwoods, unfortunately, which is not great. Assuming he follows through on the purple so he's just like, nope, see ya.
Oh
he's
no!
Like, okay, fine.
Oh god!
This might be what he had to gamble on, anyways. So it's maybe.
Oh no! Oh man! Would you look at that? The grapple for the shack tool.
Now he can get his wave beam at X-ray.
Oh man. Yeah, so I guess that also could have got X-ray logically, other than space jump, but obviously, yeah,
out of logic for.
But yeah, obviously you can't. So well, that would have been another option, but not in this seed because that wouldn't have logically worked out. So some players just like to head on over to the right side when they get a small key in the Room of Hope. That is what we're seeing Solski do right here.
Yeah,
not a bad decision. I mean, yeah, like these chests, like, you know, it's relatively dense. I mean, you can get through these rooms pretty quickly, and like there's just 4 chests there immediately. So it's probably like equivalent to the amount of time it would take to get to the Stalthos room. I'm just completely guessing.
Locations. There's the mushroom.
Hey, look, a mushroom.
And the big key.
There, wow. All right. So great play there from Solski. So obviously he's going to continue on here to grab this small key out of this pot. You always want to have one small key at the very least. Going up the tower. If you go up with 0, you're making a huge gamble and very likely a huge mistake because you're relying on one of the 4 chests at the top to have a small key. Because you need 2 at the top. There's 1 always in one of the little Helmosaurs. So that's why if you go up with 1, you're always guaranteed to be able to get through.
Yeah, definitely doing the right thing here. But
that was also chest
6.
number 6. Yes.
Yeah.
I think I did see 6 somewhere in the chat. Let me see if I can find.
Yeah, I think
Phoenix Archer,
Bright Beginner, and Sanders.
Oh yeah. Couple of people. Congratulations. You win nothing.
Rip. Sure, checking 230 missiles.
Happy, was it like 300? Or 10 arrows? Yeah.
I guess has not done Blueberry.
Oh man. This is... Man, I don't really know what to think about this. I thought he had done this, but I guess not. Like, it's a... This is one of those things where like you put it off, you I mean unless it's just Criteria Supers, then that makes sense. But if it was like the rest of, I'm pretty sure he did the rest of Blueberry Star though. But there's that single arrow. Neither of them picking it up.
You got grapple beam, man. Just he also has space jump, but. Solski's almost at the top of the tower here, so
he's flying through these rooms. Here. Some of my favorite rooms, favorite strats are these Wizrobe rooms with the red cane. It's
fun,
so
it's easy too. Like
yeah,
a lot of people can do that, and
it looks cool. Really cool. It's really fast. You know, it's very simple. Like it's really cool. I like it a lot.
You get like stuck on that block. That's weird.
I guess, yeah, he didn't do Blueburn Star power bombs. Solski waiting out the torches going out in the other room. If you go up the stairs when the torches go out in the previous room, you actually will despawn the torches in the room up the stairs, and you need to reset the dungeon and mirror out and go back to progress, which would lose a lot of time. You'd have to redo the entire tower, the upper part at least.
I can only assume he's looking for Ice Beam at this point.
Yeah.
Bit surprised he didn't open that chest.
Walked right past it.
Yeah, he walked right by it.
Ice Beam is great. It's gonna speed things up. Like the Zebetite skip potentially. It's gonna speed up your Metroids a lot. Not having to kill them with power bombs is pretty hefty time save.
Grabbing that map. No problem. Just not risking the hover here. He's probably feeling pretty good about his position. You know, this time is incredible. Like
it's good.
2:16. You're almost at Ganon. Like this is 2:17.
I mean, yeah,
really
it's definitely going to be a sub 2:30 for Solski here. Very, very good time.
I think he does have a red potion, so that's probably what he's banking on. He's got half magic and cape, so he's probably just gonna play it safe, make it free.
That might have only been one. It might have been two. I'm not sure that round there. It looks like it was only a one, but he did manage to clean him up there.
Comes Pyramid Fairy for Azder. I guess the good news for Azder is he's never going to have to step foot in Turtle Rock. Bad news is Solski didn't either.
Seeing some cool tech there, though, from Azder with the hook shot, actually making it so that he's able to dash with the bomb. So if you take damage while you've got the big bomb, because normally you like to place the bomb, you press B, which is dash, and so it would drop the bomb if you're trying to dash. But if you take damage and dash before the bomb catches up to you, or if you hook shot and dash before the bomb catches up to you, you can dash with it, speeding up some of your movement there. So that's cool, seeing how to optimize that a little bit.
Solski trying to lag the game.
I was gonna say
for those silver arrows and the fire bats on the screen.
He does need to be careful. He's taking some more damage. But at this point, it's a pretty safe fight. Once you're through phases 1 and 2 with silvers and like a tier 3 sword or above, you're pretty safe.
Yeah.
So Azder might be doing the same.
X-ray check.
Yeah, might be doing the same thing here.
Or maybe Shack Tool as well. Maybe both.
Oh, it might be happening. Yeah, the Shack Tool check. Oh man, it could be a book for the more.
So that he can check more things.
Can you imagine? Oh, jeez, how terrible that would be. It could be ice, I guess.
I mean, honestly, like, this is the play he needed to make, anyways. So
yeah,
I think that's good.
It's true.
All right, let's get our G's in the chat for Solski finishing up Ganon, but still has to take down Mother Brain to close this one out. But we'll give him a single G for now.
Yeah. 1 G in the chat for 1 game complete.
I think he's going to go ahead and refill here. I think supers are just going to be the fastest form of DPS for him, so
they are.
Sense.
Yep.
Gonna have to slowly powerbomb the Metroids, but that's just inevitable when you don't find Ice Beam.
Right.
Maybe we'll see that here at Check Tool.
Yeah, you know, maybe. But yeah, in terms of damage on Mother Brain, super missiles and a full beam combo, charge, ice wave, plasma, are equivalent in their damage output. The charge, ice wave, plasma is for if you're wanting to like get down to the frames. For humans, it's going to be less time lost if you're doing charge, ice wave, plasma, because you have fewer inputs that you need to do in order to achieve the same amount of damage output. So my boy, can we see some Shack tools in the chat?
I like that he's bombing him preemptively.
I do preemptively. Please don't do it.
No. Go back. He's still alive. There's a tunic there.
Wow. It is a tunic, and he's not resetting.
Maybe it's faster to leave this to get to X-ray. Or maybe he's doing plasma. I think he skipped plasma.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't think it would be faster. Then again, like, you have to go through the whole title screen plus the elevator again. That's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, it's slow.
Yes.
Getting to X-ray
I mean,
from
it's
anywhere.
it's just a really unfortunate situation. But and like you've said, like, these are the plays that like he needed to make. You know, having like, if nothing else, it was the hammer being left, like the conscious decision to skip the hammer when he could have made the choice to get it early was definitely the...
Solski is also known to do Eastern Palace pretty early, and you could maybe see that in the meta here, like, azder decided, you know, I'll wait for Bo, and then I'll go there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, having boots for a significant amount of time is...
Yes.
You know, saves you a bunch of time. Surprise.
Right. Like we had said, like I had mentioned that Solski did not spend a lot of time in Link to the Past after getting those boots, because both of them were in Link to the in Super Metroid for quite a significant amount of time, and so we were at that point kind of talking and expecting azder to possibly head on into Eastern at that point, but he did not. So then Solski was able to spend a lot more time in A Link to the Past with the boots when azder did not have them.
azder going to Tower of Hera now, another place we haven't seen. Unfortunately, but you know, there's 3 items available here. You can do Spike Cave afterwards. It's like relatively dense. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Skull Woods.
Then
Maybe
the green
TR afterwards, right? Like, oh wait,
TR afterwards.
Never
the
mind.
green. Yeah,
Can't
can't
do that.
without the red cane, but he's got the green. The 2, yeah, as you said, 3 items available with including the green pendant that's here, plus then that Spike Cave check. And then if the book is here, an additional check up on Death Mountain, and then also Bombos. Yeah, jeez.
Solski electing to just straight up kill the Zebatites there. Probably a bit of a tight short charge, so I don't blame him.
I mean, it's either that or... I mean, he doesn't have ice, so like he doesn't get the opportunity to do the other forms of the Zebetite skip. So yeah, it is a 3 stutter, 3 tap that you need to do to get that short charge. And that in itself is tricky. But what makes it more difficult is the fact that you have to do it through a door transition and charge after the door transition. So that's what makes it a little bit harder to do that. So instead, just plowing his way right through the Zebetites with ammo.
And plowing through Mother Brain with ammo as well.
Yes.
Going for missiles and likely super missiles here shortly. So
we may...
what's the count you need?
I was going to say, yeah, we may see him stop at 15 super missiles because Mother Brain starts to do her catch-up beam, that red attack that we just saw. When she gets down to 1/4 of her health remaining, And that would equate, that amount of health equates to 15 super missiles. So sometimes you see players when they're like going just with the ammo, so you don't really have to count, but you know you have more than enough to kill her. You just leave yourself at 15 supers, and as soon as you see the see that red beam, you just unload the rest of your supers, and then you know she's dead. But Solski, he just kept going. I mean, he knew that he had plenty of the ammo to do it anyway, so...
Interesting choice, not to do stand-up glitch here, but maybe just wanting to play it safe. Doesn't want to take any risks, because bad things can happen. Yeah, they did skip that X-ray, after all. Yeah,
there are a lot of don'ts in the stand-up, and those don'ts are hard don'ts. Because if you do them, then you run the risk of losing a huge quantity of time.
For sure. And yeah, hair abasement being an item here, it's just kind of adding insult to injury here for azder. But it is what it is. These are it's still like high-level play. It's just gambles are made in certain ways, and that's how it shakes out.
And it's like stand-up glitch always saves time, regardless of what you have. Like even if you don't have charge, it still saves you time. You can position the Metroid in such a way that it doesn't go so far off the screen as you just saw, so it dies just a little bit faster. It's, you know, marginal, but it always saves time. But like in this kind of situation, like that marginal amount of time save is not necessarily worth it when you have the potential of like losing the race by losing many minutes by screwing up the stand-up glitch. Well, the brain down. Here's the escape. So I did say that it was likely going to be a sub 230 for Solski. It's possible to get out of here in the 2 minutes. Let's see if he can do it. It's going to be a close one.
Yeah, I mean, I know how much he likes saving the animals, especially in these, you know, high stakes tournaments. So, you know, hold your breath, I guess.
Regardless of whether or not this actually ends up being sub 230, like this is still a really great time for a combo.
I agree. Yeah, it's super fine. Looks like azder is going into Meyer without the red cane. Just literally putting off the place where it is for the longest amount of time possible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
That's just like sometimes how it goes, you know, like no fault of his own. Like it's just like the decisions sometimes are just not. They're just all happen to be incorrect, you know, and that's just like the nature of randomizer.
But with that, Solski has taken game 1 of the grand finals of the Super Metroid and Link to the Past Combo Rando tournament. GG's to Solski, finishing with an official time of 2:29.16. Well done, well played. Great route. All worked out well for him.
Now,
he's gonna take a win going into game 2, which will be
I was going to
tomorrow.
say, game 1, you say, so that means there's more than one in these grand finals. It is a best of 3. When is the next race scheduled? You said tomorrow. Do people is there a time for these people so they know when to come back?
Same time as this race, actually, 6:10 p.m. Eastern, and if azder takes down game 2 tomorrow, then we'll have one on Sunday. So you get one every single day of the weekend. Sunday, 6:10 p.m. Eastern. So stay tuned and look forward to that. But not only that, but we also have a bronze match as well. Scheduled for tomorrow at 2:10 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to have Combo Rando going on all day tomorrow. It's going to be really exciting. But right now, we are joined by Solski Vision himself. What's up, man? GG.
What's going on, gents? How you guys doing tonight?
Well, doing great because we just saw an excellent match between two excellent players. Congratulations on taking game 1 here, Solski. How you feeling so far?
Feeling pretty good. I was pretty calm during the whole match, honestly. Like it's kind of going with it. I think the win against Aussie just was a substantial confidence boost, right? Like that was a really scary best of 1 to kind of go through, and then that's kind of giving me the confidence I need to kind of get through this best of 3. So Steve played great. I think I played the start perfect. I think I played the mid to end game perfect. I don't know if there's anything I could have done better, except for stooping on X-ray because I knew it had to be wave once I actually went there. I was like, whoops. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
That was a hilarious place. It was great to. Pretty much the entire race, we were like, where could wave be? And it's just like, oh, this is out of logic for this whole game. But like, oh, and so it was hilarious to finally go through the whole logic chain of what was actually required for Dark World access.
Yeah. Immediately when I saw it too, I knew. I was like, well, mistakes were made. Because I should have known that was like the last like logic place to kind of put it, like my Pearl in logic. So I wasn't really thinking about that because I was trying to think 3 steps ahead, right? So.
But it is one of those things where it's like, if something's locked by wave, it's really not important to be tracking the logic for it, because everything else that's locked by wave is easily broken through. So it's one of those situations where, like, the logic doesn't really matter to keep track of it in that scenario. It's only just, it's an amenity at that point, right?
Yeah.
So.
Let's talk about that speed booster.
Oh, man.
I was like, oh wow, because I kind of pieced together how Azder would run. I figured he'd go down towards like Kraid, and then he would have scored a Varia along the way, right? And I was just like, well,
that's exactly what happened, actually.
Yeah, and then I was like, well, that's gonna be an edge for him because I figured Speed was gonna be down there, and then I was like, well, if Speed's here, I'll be okay. And then I saw Speed, I was like, well, I was not expecting Speed.
Oh, of course not. Like,
yeah, no one was, and we were talking about where it could be, and then it just shows up immediately.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay,
because like,
well,
statistical variance, right? Like, I'm going down there. There's a couple of Link to the Past things left, and there's like Kraid's area, and I can start breaking. And then when I saw the Varia, I was like so calm. I was like, all right, so I know what happened here. It was pretty good.
He actually missed out on the Wavegate glitch. In Pink Barin, and ran out of supers and just decided to peace out of there. And that, I think, cost him a bit of time, so he decided to go down Red Tower instead of going up, through Green Brinstar, so he missed out on, like, high jump and gravity, but found Varia, so, like, you guys were in completely different areas of the world entirely, cool. Like, in the early game. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the movement items that you got almost certainly were giving you an advantage throughout. Like, you got boots in Eastern Palace years earlier than he did, so
that's what I was wondering as well. Like, that was another potential advantage I identified, right? Because I saw Screw Attack and Escape. I was like, I bet he does Escape first, and then he passes on Eastern to chase that, and then sure enough. So I felt that's what I mean. Is like I kept hitting good items in awkward spots, and it was like, wow, I'm like riding some good luck here, right? So was
the play with the wreck ship was pretty neat, like with the gravity putting that in logic, with morph bombs or high jump. It was pretty cool to see that play.
So it would have been morph bombs. It would have been morph bombs because Speed was on the sky missile, right? So that's what I identified too. It's like, so what was high jump in logic then? And I saw Speed. I'm like, okay, there we go. So it's good. And then like late game, it was kind of I think I was in a good spot. Like I got hammer in a good area. I was a little worried about like Thieves Town Big Chest and hammer pegs, but
we were talking about that for sure.
Yeah. And then I liked when I went up to Death Mountain. I went up, I think, at the right time. I saw flippers. I kind of wanted to piece, but I was like, that's stupid. There's so many items.
Alu commented on that.
My brain just melted when I saw that. I was like, well.
I mean, funny enough, that would have been like the biggest brain play if you had left the rest of Paradox.
There was nothing else there.
That's just incorrect. That just sounds incorrect.
People would have
Paradox Cave.
Are you kidding me? They would have asked the Link to the Past council to come and talk to me after.
I know exactly.
I was like, I was like so tempted. I was like, that's so stupid. There's like what, like 10 items up here? Oh, I'm going here. I figured my good skip was gonna be Hookshot Cave because I was like, I can't go to Harry yet, thinking about that wave in logic, and Hammer was in LN, where space was and where, you know, Flute eventually was, which I didn't know at the time. And I was just like, that's probably gonna be grapple. Let's just bail on Spiral. So I don't know if it was actually there or not, but that was like where I was trying to piece together where it could be and what I can pass. So yeah, and then ice into swamp. I was thinking about swamp first, but I wanted to do ice for the Fat Fairy routes from swamp in, and then like hobo to like the mirror checks, and then the Smith's purple chest. So, but yeah, first item swamp was pretty good.
Yeah,
I do want to keep talking, but we did unfortunately see Azder forfeit from the race here. So still really well played by Azder, but you know, a lot of unfortunate things happening along the way. And we're joined by Azder.
Hello.
Hi.
So, how are you feeling about this seed, Azder? There's, as Ali was saying, right as you popped in here, like it's a lot of unfortunate things were happening. Unfortunately, like that's just the nature of how the randomizers go. Like sometimes just decisions are made that don't pay off.
There were two things that kind of hurt me, and one of them was, I would say, a big mistake on my part. The first thing that hurt me was obviously kind of God visioning the morph ball behind like almost 2 hours. That was just unlucky, I think.
Yeah, I think that was unlucky, honestly, and that didn't have to be there.
Yeah, that could have been like, if it had to be an item, that could have been like, you know, anything like Ice Rod or whatever.
You could have found Bow and SM that led you there immediately, and you wouldn't really lose any time. So, like, yeah, I think it was a fine choice.
Yeah, but the big mistake that I made was when I got the mitts, I was thinking really hard about Lore Norfair because the way that the seed was putting itself together, it seemed like I had this chain that was like Morph and then Varia and then Flute and then like there's one pair of gloves, Hookshot, and I'm just like, okay, this feels like it's leading to Lore Norfair. And so when I saw the mitts there, I was thinking really hard about that. And actually, I didn't even have the Pearl yet. But when I got the Pearl from Wavegate, which I think Wave has to be at X-Ray, I don't think it can be anywhere else.
It is. Solski checked.
I didn't like put 2 and 2 together correctly with like realizing that oh hey, Pearl and mitts, now I have regular Dark World access. My mind was still like very set on getting there through Meridia, and so I did like a lot of that slow leaping through with the thought that I needed that Meridia access to get there, which is why I went down the sandpit for the mirror and then looped back around.
Right.
On that, but it was entirely on the premise that I was like, oh, that's my Meridia's my Dark World access. Somehow I came to that conclusion.
And in your defense, like that's a really like in my experience too, that's a really easy like mind trap to fall into, where you think you think you're formulating how the seed is coming together, and you get like fixated on a certain way that you need to progress, and you forget that there are different ways that might be faster or alternate ways to do things. As you were saying, like getting focused on the Dark World access through Meridia, you know, it's really easy to fall into those traps, unfortunately.
Yeah, because I had gotten Gravity Suit on the way to No, I didn't. Never mind those. No, I had gotten Gravity Suit on the way to. Okay, never mind. Forget Gravity. That's not relevant. But so what actually happened was that I realized that, oh hey, I met, so I could have checked Dark Death Mountain, and that would have been a good idea in case Hammer shows up there. So I was like, okay, I'll leave my portal at 2, so that I can flute back to 2, and then just go and check that real quick, then die to preserve the portal and flute back. And then after I checked the mit stuff, I was just like, wait, I have meds, I don't need to be doing this. I don't need to be like saving my Dark World portal this way.
I honestly thought it was kind of a cool play, but you were kind of just trudging through the Dark World without boots, and kind of just falling further behind, doing some of the slower checks that didn't pay off, unfortunately. Like, that was just rando being rando, I guess, but like that's kind of the end result of what happened. Is just like you checked Catfish and Graveyard Ledge, and Solski was able to kind of dodge a lot of those locations.
Yeah, so I was kind of like, okay, well, when Bombos showed up, I was like, okay, that kind of sucks, because now I need to like go back and check some of the earlier, like, more things that I don't think Solski would have skipped stuff. Like, I put off East Town for Hammer. I was like, okay, well, I need to make sure that I cover all of these easy locations now in case Kane is there and Bombos is like supposed to be go mode. And then when it didn't turn up right away, I was just like, okay, I need it to be somewhere that's like a little bit dumb that he might miss it, but like not so dumb that it takes me a long time to get because I think I'm behind. So it's like, it was a very weird set of outcomes that would have made sense for Kane to be, for me to still get the win, because I'm pretty sure I was behind for like a good portion of this race, and so I needed to make up time somewhere.
Yeah, I think we were talking about that quite a bit, and like when you found Grapple, like going to check Jack Tool and stuff, like I thought it was the right play, honestly, to make that call. And if you had found Red Cane and were looking for Bombos, like going to Turtle Rock might have been like the right call. You know, stuff like that to just try to catch up, because you didn't find high jump boots, you know, very early, so your route through Norfair was just a bit slower in general. And
like up Norfair, yeah. I don't think I suffered too much there before that, but
well,
like
also Wreck Ship as well. But I mean, it's not too bad.
I did get speed there, which like took out some of the issues with it, and
True.
Okay, speed leading to myths was really funny.
Yeah, it's great. It was just a anxiety attack into okay, we're good.
I was actually going to skip bowling there until I saw the speed, because I was just like, I'm here out of logic, and like I know that a movement item that I skipped somewhere in Brinstar is what puts this back together. So I'm like, I'm pretty sure that it's probably speed that puts this back in logic. So I'm just gonna skip bowling, grab it, and then come back. And if it is like space jump, then well, we'll deal with that then.
Yeah, I thought one of you might like. I thought maybe you, Azder, might go back for the powder there. I thought that was another big play that you could make potentially, but
I maybe I was kind of hoping to stumble into mushroom somewhere.
Same.
Well, you did.
Yep.
Solski, it was in Ganon's tower.
Yeah, I had the exact same mindset. I was trying to stumble into mushroom, and then I can just break it, because then you save like the minute and a half or whatever it would be to chase that. So, for sure.
I mean, this was a really awesome race to watch and to commentate. You guys both, you know, were playing really well, and it was a really very apparent why you're both here in the finals. And you guys have not seen the last of these two players. Again, as we were saying, their game 2, this is a best of 3, so their game 2 is going to be tomorrow, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern. Of note, it will be on SpeedGaming 2. So not on this same channel, it will be on SpeedGaming 2, along with the bronze match between Pizza and Aussie 4 hours prior to that on SpeedGaming 2 at 2:10 Eastern. So make sure you come on back for that to see the second game here, and see how this all shakes out.
Did you guys see the Ripper D-Boost I got to Croc Phoebe's?
Yes, and it was
amazing.
First try, made it look easy. That was awesome.
I can't believe that never works ever.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like getting it first try is just a really good feel. But yeah, anything else that you guys want to close it out with?
That's what we expect from you top players here in this tournament. So
oh yeah,
it's awesome to see the swag. We love the hover from you, Solski, after fighting the Big T and Meyer.
Hell yeah,
that was great.
It saves like 20 seconds, so It's not just,
It was.
it's not
it
just
was-
swag.
It's not just a meme. Like it was actually a real good time save. I saw that you were a little, maybe had some reservations about the Moldorm 2 hover, which is understandable. The amount of time lost is maybe not worth.
Yeah, it's like 4 seconds gained, and I was just like, eh.
Yeah.
Eh.
But it was a great match. Do you guys have any thoughts on how you might change it up for tomorrow? Yeah, you gotta bring it tomorrow, Azder. Otherwise, he's gonna clean sweep.
I'm just gonna try not to make the things that I think were mistakes, and I'm gonna hope for a seed that benefits my playstyle a little more.
Yeah, that's fair. Like morph where it was, and just everything where it was kind of wacky. But
Yeah, it was an interesting seed.
it was
but
neat.
Looking forward to the next one. Thanks, guys, for commentating.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. It was a blast. You know, and I always enjoy the wild card comms with my boy Alucard, so thanks for going on this wild ride with me. I appreciate all you guys being here and hyping up this race in the chat. Alu, I'll hand it to you for the last word.
Yeah, really enjoyed the race, guys. GG's again, and good luck in the coming matches. And thanks for commenting with me, Wild. Thanks to Linkforce for doing all the tracking behind the scenes. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you next mission.